So the players are out in the middle. 165 needed by West Indies, 7 wickets needed by England. And who have we got? Well, no one at the moment. We've got Andy over there polishing his equipment. No one to the left. We've got Simon Mann. This is going to be awkward because I'm going to have to unplug myself for Simon to plug in. So Andy, sing a song while we do that.
I think that will be an extremely bad idea, Agus. I can update you with the WinViz predictor from CricViz has England at 80%, West Indies 19%, as Wood comes in for the first ball after lunch and bowls it short on Blackwood's hip, and it hits him on the thigh pad and drops down to short leg, and there is no run, and Simon Mann is now primed and ready to go.
Blackwood has scored 4 runs off 7 balls in his career, and that's a career high. I'm not very good at your job, Andy.
It's not as easy as I make it look.
No, it's not, no.
Well, we have a little role play there.
Roll reversal.
Roll reversal.
I didn't have a good stat up my sleeve, though.
No. His career scored 7 runs off 4 balls.
I was just making it up.
Is that
Sorry.
what you could come up with?
Here's Wood bowling to Blackwood. Blackwood drives, thick inside edge, past short leg for a single towards square leg. They jog through. So West Indies under pressure here after lunch. That England's attack on top, 200 to win. Not inconceivable, they could still win from here. Someone's got to play pretty well, though, or perhaps more than one person's got to play well to get home from here.
Yeah, it's a couple of partnerships, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a couple of decent partnerships, and then anything can happen. The field starts spreading, and nerves come into play for the England side. England just want to keep chipping away, homing on those stumps. That's what they've done. So I wouldn't fancy being a stump this game.
No.
A couple have been absolutely removed, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's that sort of pitch as well.
Yeah.
It's a bowl quite straight pitch, isn't it?
Fifth day.
And also, those ones just outside the off stump, it's a play-on pitch as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2-paced.
Wood goes in and bowls over the top of off stump. And he's quite 2-pace. There was the fast pace. That really flew through to Buttler. Seemed to take off, but it was wide enough, just wide enough for Chase to leave, and so he didn't get into a tangle with it, but he's come down the pitch to do some gardening. And it's an involuntary action really to do that. You go down and have a look at the spot. There's nothing much you can do about it.
Just to sort of settle the nerves, isn't it? Let's go and have a little wander about and prod a few little specks of dirt about. Yeah, bit of gardening. Now I think both bowling attacks have done very well actually on this pitch.
Here goes Wood to bowl to Chase. Chase clips that away past short leg, possibly for 2. Anderson is after it from forward square leg, and they come back for the second run.
But as you know, Simon, it doesn't take long, does it? Just to, if a partnership does develop and a few loose deliveries get punished and put away for 4s, next thing you look up, the partnership is worth 20 or 30, and then 40 or 50, and people just it can change in a very short space of time. But you're right, both sides have realised West Indies' first innings, pitch the ball up, swing it away, get the outside edges, and then when the sun has come out, they've both just decided to go straight, bowls and LBWs.
Wood bowls to Chase, a ballooning bouncer that flies through and worries nobody.
No.
38 for 3 with those 2 to Chase. It's actually Crawley at square leg. He actually runs a bit like Jimmy Anderson, but he's a couple of inches taller and looks completely different. And they're about 15 years difference in age, and one's got dark hair and one's got blonde hair. But from
now that's the kind of stat I'm after.
Apart from that, it was quite an accurate call. Just on that procedure for John Campbell we were talking about earlier, the question, can he go away from the ground, have an X-ray and come back? He's actually having his foot was toe iced at the moment. Here's Wood bowling, and Chase has plenty of time to defend that up towards mid-on. Time to get on the back foot and play it. 38 for 3 after 16 overs.
Because he's going to break the bubble, isn't he?
Well, this is it. The procedure, if required, is as follows. Team doctor books the treatment stroke X-ray with the low-risk private hospital that has been agreed for this purpose. So there must be a hospital in the area where they've agreed all this. Team doctor does that. They travel to the private hospital and wait in the car park until they are authorised to go in.
Wow.
The room used will have been deep cleaned and sanitised. After the consultation stroke X-ray, they immediately leave and return to the venue. They will re-enter the biosecure venue through the relevant entry point and will not be quarantined. If required, they can continue to play in the match. So those are the protocols around leaving the ground and coming back again. And it could well happen. I mean, it hasn't necessarily happened with John Campbell. It might not, but it could well happen with a arm, or someone being hit on the head, as we've seen a lot of in Test cricket.
Not a lot you can do with a broken toe, to be fair, though. I've had a couple of busted toes, and they just go, it's broken, off you go.
Yeah, and we were told he will bat, if required, if necessary. I think it might well be necessary, although his best bowling to Blackwood, and Blackwood plays that into the onside towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. I mean, if you had a scenario, say, where West Indies were, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if they were 50 for 8 or something, whether he would still come out.
Perhaps, yeah.
How is Blackwood going to play this here against Dominic Bess? There are 3 men back. Forward he goes. Plays quietly towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. There's a long on in, there's a cow corner in, and there's a deep cover in.
I like this field. In outfield, putting the pressure on with the short leg and the slip, and then that inner ring, not giving away easy singles, but then if he wants to go for the big shot, there are a couple there in the deep.
Bess bowls to Blackwood. He stretches forward, head right over it, playing defensively towards short leg. And the reason I'm saying that is because Blackwood likes to attack, and we saw him in the first innings play an extravagant shot that led to his downfall, caught by Anderson at mid-off. I see he's loosening up. We might see him fairly soon. Here is Bess into bowl to Blackwood, and Blackwood turns his wrists on that, goes past short leg. Archer comes in from short fine leg to pick up, and there is no run.
Funny how fields change, isn't it, to spin bowlers? I mean, I would never have dreamt of not having a man on the sweep. That was almost the first.
You mean back on the sweep?
Yeah, just behind square on the sweep, yeah.
Bess hasn't got that. He bowls to Blackwood. It balloons in the air towards short leg over his head, and he dives and can't get onto it, and it rolls out towards mid-wicket. There was a lot of interest there from the close catchers.
Yeah, it spun and bounced. Good delivery just outside the off stump. Bit of flight, and it's... I think he's got a good piece of that. Blackwood inside edge onto the pad, and Ollie Pope just got a finger on it. Very difficult with the visor and helmet on. Good effort.
Bess bowls, tosses that right up. Blackwood drives nicely straight to Crawley. Extra cover, and there is no run. Well, that one did turn from Bess, spun in and hit the pad.
So there is a bit of spin there when you go wide for the off spinner. You've got to be brave, especially when you haven't got too many runs to play with you. It's just not all about containment. You've got to look to take a wicket for your captain. Bowling nicely. I've been very impressed with Dom Bess. Bowled nicely in that first innings and did a dual role of getting a couple out and also holding up an end.
He does look to have really improved as a bowler.
It's his line. He's worked on his line, Simon. I was a bit disappointed at Cape Town with him when England he just bowled straight and just sort of thought, right, I'm just going to not go for any runs. Which is commendable, but you've got to enjoy yourself a bit as well. You've got to go looking for it a little bit, and that's your craft.
Here's Wood bowling to Chase. Chase angles it away. There's no one in the gully region. They can have a man back on the deep backward point boundary. That's Denley. And so a single to Roston Chase. Moves to 15, and it's 39 for 3.
Yeah, I think he's improved, sort of mentally more than anything. He's always a decent bowler, but I think he's sort of thinking for himself now a little bit.
He had that time in India where he was doing a lot of bowling and
with a RAF,
learning about different release points.
That's right. But then also just sort of like, as a spin bowler, and it does take a bit of time. You go, right, now this is what I'm going to do, Skip. I'm going to look to bowl a little bit wider. And
Wood to Blackwood. Blackwood forces into the offside for runs, and it's another chase round for Denley, this time to his right. They've got 2. Denley's onto it now. It's a big boundary out there, but Denley gets in the return to Butler, and it persuades him not to come back for the third run. 41 for 3. So when were you at your best, your peak as a spin bowler?
Crikey.
So you played from the ages of what to what in first class cricket? 20 to
18, 19 to 37.
Right.
So I would say, late 20s, early 30s.
And then you...
Even though I did very well at the start,
Wood bowls to Blackwood. That seems to go underground, that one.
Yeah, it did.
Just past the off stump. He's quite fortunate there, Blackwood, as he leaned forward and missed it, but not easy on this pitch.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of your career, you get good delivery, just a bit of seam movement as well. But at the start of your career, I was still probably bowling sort of the same. But then, as you say, mentally you'd matured and you'd sort of like understood a bit more about your game and field placings and when to go after situations and when to hold back a little bit. So, you know, it's experience, isn't it? Simple as that. The longer you play, the more experience you get, and that does count for a lot with a spinner.
Wood goes in, bowls to Blackwood. He gets a straight ball, which he turns into the leg side for another single. So these two doing it nicely since lunch, knocking it around.
That's why I didn't particularly understand nets, you know, because, you know, I can get it down the end pretty well, you know. I got it down on a good length.
So you mean you didn't really want to bowl in the nets?
Well, yeah, so what am I practicing for a little bit? You know, because you know what you're doing anyway. You know, I suppose you're just continually just getting that feel. And, you know, but sometimes you just think, you know, it's not like I was working on a leg spinner or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or had some cunning plan up my sleeve. You know, it was just more of the same, really. But I suppose then it's a groove, isn't it? And you get into that rhythm.
Here's Wood outside the off stump, big drive from Chase, and misses it past the outside edge. He was looking for the extra cover boundary, an extravagant shot, nothing on it, and through to Butler. 42 for 3, Chase 15. West Indies need 200 to win.
Yeah, and it'll be the old countdown, won't it? That's 158. If they can just get another 58 without losing a wicket, all of a sudden everyone's ears prick up a little bit. Oh, it's only double figures, blocks of 10. So England will be desperate to get at least another couple of wickets before that happens.
Chase waits, bat raised, Wood goes into Bolton, wide of off stump, and Chase ignores that one. So it looked quite tempting, that one, to really slap it away on the offside, but after the previous delivery where he played and missed, perhaps he decided discretion best option.
It is quite an interesting position, though, especially to Mark Wood with that trajectory. He sort of bowls that sort of flatty, skiddy trajectory. The fine leg, the third man is sort of almost a little bit squarer for that kind of slice drive, which can go aerial.
Yeah, so if he'd gone after it, and he hit it well, it still might have been a troublesome shot for him, because he might have found the man. Yeah,
it's not a genuine third man. It's more sort of on the cut boundary.
So you said you were at your peak in your late 20s and early 30s. Did you then notice a decline?
No.
So you stayed on that. You got to your peak and kept going till you'd had enough.
Well, yeah, really.
I mean, the body didn't start aching every day. I know you were. Well, here's best bowling. Blackwood playing into the onside, picked up at straight mid wicket by Burns away to his left.
It's got a bit soul destroying, you know. Australia keep winning 650 for 4, you know.
Yeah.
But you get to that peak very early, you know. I mean, Dom's best. You'll watch Dom Best bowl.
As we are now, bowling to Blackwood, and Blackwood is stuck on the pad, leaning forward. It goes to Stokes at slip. He dives forward to try to take the catch, just in case there was an inside edge there. Again, there's some turn for Best, something to work with on this final day.
Yeah, he'll be. If you come and watch him in another 10 years' time bowl, he'll be bowling. He wouldn't have changed. You know what I mean? He wouldn't necessarily got better. He might have got a little bit more consistent and you know, and what have you. But it's the mental attitude that you progress in, I suppose. And that took a piece out.
It did. Best bowls to Blackwood, tossed up. Blackwood drives, goes to Crawley at extra cover, and there's no run. That was the flighted one, the tempter.
I like that. He does get good drop. He gets good drop, Dom Best. When he's got a good body action. He's got a lot of energy in that delivery and gets that sort of right shoulder right through there.
Best bowls to Blackwood, Blackwood back.
Quicker.
Turning it towards mid-wicket. But it's intercepted by Pope at short leg under the helmet. And there's no run. When you talk about drop, you mean get up and down.
That's right.
Until the batsman thinks it's coming to them nicely, and then it drops before them.
Correct. Yeah. Garlic, we used to call it.
Here's Best bowling. Forward goes Blackwood, plays it back up the offside of the pitch. Best picks up and there's no run. Garlic.
Dip.
Garlic, oh right, okay. What, nice bit of garlic, nice bit of garlic, that was it? In the dressing room or on the field?
I want to
People, batsmen looking around, what the hell are they talking about?
Exactly.
Best ball, that's a bad ball. But nearly a catch is a strange one. Best ball, a short ball outside the off stump. Blackwood went for the cut shot and he edged it, and Stokes, I think, was anticipating running after it and suddenly found the ball coming towards him and he tipped it over the bar and had to run down to the fine third man boundary.
Yeah, that, and you're talking about release points, Simon. That was the lower release points, which is a bit more skiddy and hits the batsman a little bit quicker, rushes the batsman, got him on the back foot, and then all of a sudden the delivery was there, and as you say, got an outside edge. Ben Stokes would be a good goalkeeper because he sent him the wrong way and then just stuck out a hand. Oh, if that would have stuck, that would have been the catch of the season.
Yeah, he was going to his right, wasn't he, to try to anticipate it, and then it went to his left.
Yeah.
Stokes has put down a difficult catch. It was a strange incident because it looked like a very tempting ball for a cut shot, and it nearly produced a wicket.
But that's that low delivery point you were talking about. As you say, when it's up and over, it then sort of like bounces off the pitch. When it's a lower delivery point, it just sort of skids through the pitch.
You think of Ben Stokes as being a brilliant catcher, and we've seen him take some brilliant catches.
Cool, have we?
But he's dropped more catches in Test cricket than any other fielder since the start of 2019.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say forever.
Here's Wood bowling, and that's in the air, but short of mid-wicket from Blackwood.
And that's what happens. You see, there's a little bit of a partnership growing there. Before lunch, they would have had a short leg in there, but then as the partnership develops and the runs tick away, you have to then make a few sacrifices to your wicket-taking fieldsman. Has he?
Yeah, he's dropped 11 catches in that time.
He's always mainly because he's always going for them, isn't he,
And England's played more matches than other countries. But I can see if I can find out the percentages.
This is Wood bowling to Blackwood. Blackwood plays defensively into the offside and there's no run. But whoever...
Is that...
It was a stat I saw.
Are you classing that as a chance?
Well,
Simon?
OK, here we go. Of those 11 chances, of the 10 he dropped before that, only 3 of them were evaluated as a hard chance. So if you want to put that down as a hard chance, that's 11 now, and so 3 of 11.
Who's doing the evaluating?
Well, that's it, I suppose, isn't it?
I know what you mean. Yeah, if that's 1 in 100 to take.
Wood goes wide of the crease, balls with that slingy action, full delivery, and Blackwood digs it out, goes scuttling back up the pitch, and it's picked up by Anderson coming round from mid-on. And there's no run.
If Stokes catches that as a bowler, you're buying him a pint afterwards. I mean, that would have been sensational.
I mean, the one, we talked about this earlier in the game, the one you remember, the one I really remember, is the one he dropped off Watling in Mount Maunganui, which was a slip catches go, straightforward catch, a slip.
Off who, sorry?
That was off the spinner, wasn't it? It was off, I think it was off route, it was.
Oh.
Here goes Wood bowling, that's driven beautifully by Blackwood for 4, wide of mid-off, no chance for Archer, lovely stroke. And it hits the boundary now, and Archer's about 40 metres behind it. 49 for 3, West Indies.
Did you say Watling?
Yeah, BJ Watling. When he had 30.
Oh, sorry, yes.
BJ Watling had 31 at the time, and he made 200.
Yes, that's right.
So, yeah.
So the spinner would have been
Root.
Oh, Root, yeah.
Root was bowling.
Just sliding on with the it was straight in, I remember that. Oh, yeah, but I mean, he's pulled off some absolute corkers, hasn't he? They say when he's broken his finger helps because it's like a little claw. He can't straighten. It's like a wicket-keeper's sort of webbing that index finger, so it just sort of can't bend back.
Yeah.
Quite a good stopper, as well as like almost forms a cup.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Wood bowls to Blackwood, and Blackwood hits one on the hip there. He tries to flick it away, strikes him on the body, goes down fine, and they're through for a leg by, and West Indies 50 is up. They are a quarter of the way there.
It's getting tense. I can always feel it now as well.
They're a quarter of the way there. England are nearly a third of the way there.
Right, and Andy's going to come in with some percentages.
just telling you the partnership now 23 in 8.1 overs.
There you go. If you're doing a bit of homeschooling, tune in. Do a bit of maths with TMS.
Yeah. England are 3/10 of the way there. Here's Wood, who bowls himself off his feet
How
again.
many times does he do that?
It's outside the off stump. There's no straight from Chase. It's through to the wicketkeeper Butler, and at the end of Wood's over, that was 90.3 miles an hour from Mark Wood. It's 50 for 3, so 150 more for West Indies. 7 wickets for England. Both sides have 3 reviews left. John Campbell is retired hurt.
I know where I'd be bowling when John Campbell comes back. It's got to hurt. I got one of them off of Wakar Yunis at the Oval. Oh, wow.
Right on the end of the toe.
Oh, and I limped for about the next week and a half, and I had to bowl second innings.
Is it broken or just bruised?
Oh, it didn't matter. It was just an awful mess. Yeah. Nails off and purple and green up. It was almost up my ankle. It sort of gone from my toe all up my calf. Don't know if
It's going to be best to bowl to Blackwood.
I don't know why he don't bat. I don't know why he don't bat in steel toe caps.
Yeah. Why don't you?
Yeah, why don't you? It's a good idea, isn't it?
You have pads on and helmets, don't you? Best tosses it up. Blackwood drives straight to Crawley at extra cover, and there's no run.
I like that. Nicely flighted outside the off stump.
It might mitigate against fancy footwork a bit if your boots are a bit heavy.
Well, I'm not sending a pair of divers boots. I'm sure that but was it Kevlar or something, or was it? Yeah. Carbon fibre.
Best to Blackwood, who back dabs, and they
push
go
for 2.
1. They're going to look for 2 towards deep backward point. They're going to get it as well. England have that man back, and Blackwood gets 2 more.
Everything just seems to be a little bit easier now for the West Indies, doesn't it? You say that initial spell before lunch, wickets and stumps flying out the ground, and everyone would have been in that dressing room going, "Oh no!" But it just seems to have settled down a bit now for the West Indies.
52 for 3. Best to Blackwood. Blackwood drives, gets it to the left of Crawley in the covers, and that sweeper comes in again to field on the deep cover boundary. Who is number 19? Is that a sub-fielder? I think that's Chris Wokes out there, isn't it?
Might be. Someone's off. Who's off?
Yeah, it's Wokes.
Yeah. Chris Wokes is on the field.
Yeah.
But welcome action for him, actually. It might be a bit boring being in the bubble and not playing.
3.5 weeks the boys have been here. I was talking.
Yeah, and the West Indies even longer. It's hard, isn't it?
For one game. Very hard.
Best pushes that one through, and Chase picks him off comfortably there into the offside, and Wokes is in action again from deep cover, and Chase walks to the non-striker's end.
Looks like Chris Wokes has forgotten his razor as well, because he's sporting a very, very sort of bushy beard, isn't
he started growing it in New Zealand.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's developed. Old fisherman.
West Indies ticking along nicely here. Best bowls turned away by Blackwood on the ground to short leg, or it's stopped by Pope. He's using his wrist to stun any spin, or playing with the spin.
England just need to. They've just leaked a few easy singles, haven't they? Rotated the strike.
Best to Blackwood, tossed up, almost a full toss. But he did dip on him actually, and hit the toe of his bat on the drive, and it goes out to Crawley, who's fielding at extra cover. There is no run. It is the end of the over. 54 for 3. Chase 16, Blackwood 15. West Indies were 7 for 2. And they looked in all sorts of trouble then, because Campbell had gone off injured as well.
Wicket was doing a bit, wasn't it? Just seems to have settled down a little bit.
Is there a temptation? Will there be a temptation soon to bring back Archer?
Without doubt. And don't forget Ben Stokes 4 for in the first innings. Kinds of gets forgotten about sometimes because he's the captain and bats and everything. Ben Stokes is a great partnership breaker. Has been all his bowling life. What number would you have on your back, Simon? If you were out there, what would your squad number be? What would you choose?
I don't know. I think I might go for 13 actually. Why do you laugh?
Well, I don't know.
Is that being perverse? Is
Well,
it?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
The Shamar Brooks number, because I just don't believe in. I don't believe in luck. Or
So you'd actually then sort of rub Lux in the face with your...
Sort of, yeah. I used to wear 13 playing rugby. Didn't used to bother me.
No.
Even though I was inside centre rather than an outside centre, I always used to wear the 13 rather than the 12.
Strange boy. Here comes that man, strange boy.
Well, people have said worse things about him than that over the years.
You'd be all right then.
Shamar Brooks is number 13.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've had a lot of good things happen to me on the 13th. Honestly.
On Friday the 13th.
Well, not
as
I say Friday. Well, we had a couple.
Here's a new
Ooh,
over
God.
from Anderson, who is into the attack now, replacing Wood. Change of ends for him. Bowled at the hotel end to start with, and bowled a very tidy spell as well, challenging the off stump. Now he's gone to the far end,
I just
pavilion end.
fancy a bit of Archer. Fancy a bit of Archer soon. Just seemed right, didn't it, on this pitch? He was really sort of like coming from tall, and that wristy snap of the arm which could scuttle low or the odd one bounce. Don't want to over bowl him perhaps yet.
Anderson moves in and bowls outside the off stump. Nothing from Roston Chase, allowing it to go through to Butler. Well, we could be in for a fantastic afternoon.
It's going to
here.
be tight, isn't it?
Slow burner. It's been a slow burning game. It's building up. I mean, the fear for the West Indies is, suddenly, we mentioned this earlier in the game, suddenly wickets can go in clusters, can't they? You can have a partnership, and it happened yesterday. We had 5 for 30.
Yep. Difficult to get. You've never felt in on this pitch, and also difficult to start on this pitch. Once as Crawley showed, once you get yourself in, you can knock it about.
Anderson to Chase. Chase angles it away. There's no one in the gully, so an easy single down towards third man.
Yeah,
Denley's there. One more.
They all build up, don't they, these easy singles? And the next thing you know, you think you're doing well, you think you're 1 or 2 wickets away, and you look up, well, hold on a minute, they only need another 120. How have they got those runs? Yeah, you've got to try and dry the singles up and make them go for the big shot, make them feel under pressure that they're going nowhere. They did that beautifully before lunch. As I say, the West Indies just felt that they weren't scoring a run. Now they're just ticking it over. Buildy.
55 for 3. Blackwood on strike on 15. Anderson bowls to him, and Blackwood gets one that bounces. He rides it quite well and knocks it into the offside and gets a single. Crawley comes in, so another run. Blackwood so far has played well within himself. We haven't seen any extravagance at all. He's played carefully.
I've been talking to some of the West Indies fillers during the game, and they said he is a talent, and he's trying to make himself play a longer innings, but he's got a real talent to take a game away from you. So he's going about his business nicely here. 16, Chase 17.
Anderson, the sun's disappeared behind clouds for a moment. He goes in now and bowls to Chase on the pads of Chase. An easy single there of Anderson, frustrated with himself.
Yeah.
Nudged away by Chase down towards fine leg. Wokes picks up. So one more. So who is Wokes on the field for? We worked that out?
No.
Is it one of the bowlers? I see Stokes loosening up in the full slip region. Archer's on the field. Anderson's obviously on the field. There's Wood.
Might have gone
Wood gone off?
Might have done, yeah. He did do his usual throw himself off his feet the over before.
Wonder if we're going to see Stokes at this hotel end.
I think
take
so.
Bess off.
I think so.
Could be. Anderson with a slip and a gully in, bowls to Blackwood, and it's full Yorker length. Blackwood turns it into the onside, sets off for a single. It's not there. He's sent back by Chase in plenty of time as Pope gets round and picks up. And there's no run. End of Anderson's over. Anderson's bowled 7 overs, 3 maidens, no wicket for 14.
Just bowled both sides of the wicket a touch, haven't they, after lunch? So good before lunch, just right in that channel, top of off stump, didn't leave there. Just after lunch, the odd one's been hit both sides.
So on Ben Stokes' fielding since the start of 2019, he has dropped 10, which is the most drops by anyone. He's also caught 23, played in 14 matches, which is more than pretty much anyone else in World Cricket. England have played more tests than anyone else. Joe Root, by comparison, 29 catches, 5 drops. So Stokes has the second most catches by a non-wicket keeper in that time, but has dropped 30% of the chances he's had.
So caught a lot but dropped a lot, Archer's gone off the field.
1 in 3 doesn't sound very good, that, does it?
Some of them have been quite straightforward
Well,
as well,
yeah,
by his standards.
Yeah, but he's been right up
Here's Best bowling, Chase driving to mid-on, there's no run.
I mean, sometimes what I can remember in that Cape Town game when it wasn't carrying, I mean, it was fielded at the second slip, it was virtually 3 yards away.
Yeah. Sort of helmet territory.
It was, yeah. So he's putting himself in the far-in line 2 drop of field, which you don't mind.
Best bowls. Oh, and Chase guides that away. I thought he got through there for a moment, and so did Bess and Stokes, but he managed to get the bat down on it, and he played with a real open face there. And he played it skillfully, and it's picked up on the deep backward point boundary by Wokes, and 2 more runs, 59 for 3.
Got to say strong here to his line, Don Best, because he is just getting picked off. See, I'd be tempted to have that man up on the 1, but they don't like it nowadays, you know. But he is just getting milked a little bit on the offside, but I don't mind that, because one might turn.
Best bowls, and he goes over the top.
Shot.
Roston Chase, he's hit that for 4. 1, 2 bounces, 3 into the rope at long on.
There we go. Bit of a counter punch here by West Indies.
Yeah. Chase to 24, and West Indies to 63 for 3. Now the man up, and he took it on. Didn't see any of that from Chase in the first innings.
Got to stay strong, Don Best. Keep believing in your plans, and just believe one's going to turn, one's going to do something. A misjudgment or a mistimed shot from one of the batsmen.
So long on, not quite long on, halfway between mid-on and long on is in now Sibley. Best bowls, forward goes Chase, flicking, trying to hit Sibley in that position, take a single, but Best is across and stops it. And there's no run. He was nearly through just before lunch when he had that LBW shout against
high.
Roston Chase. It was umpire's call for height on middle stump. 63 for 3. 200 to win. Best bowls to Chase, push through, Chase goes back, brushes it into the leg side, they're off a quick single to mid-wicket, Burns sends in the return, but the England 27 can't beat West Indies 27. Blackwood making his ground at the far end, and West Indies
chipping away.
Yep, they are, they're doing this well. They were 27 for 3, they're now 64 for 3, building the partnership, and they were desperate for. Best bowls to Blackwood, who's standing up in defence there, dropping it to a short leg, and there's no run. This is the end of the over, so that's a good half an hour for West Indies after lunch. They have come through unscathed, not quite putting the pressure totally back on England, but the game's moving back towards a balance. Jonathan Agnew's coming in.
Yeah, they were reeling before lunch, but they've come out. I think England haven't been quite on the money, especially the seamers. They've just been knocked away both sides of the pitch. Don Best has just, even though I want him to bowl that outside off stump line. But are you ready, John?
Yeah.
Well done.
That was a lightning
You're
change.
An absolute.
Well, just as the Grand Prix is about to start, that was the quickest pitch change we've had.
It was excellent.
Yeah, I'm happy with that one.
Yeah.
All fitted.
Silky.
Yeah, all slotted in. Spared Andy Zaltzman.
Just looking at Roston Chase's 4th innings statistics, he has 2 of his 5 Test centuries in the 4th innings.
Well, that's a good period of play for the West Indies, and Anderson continues from the far end. Chase mistimes that forcing Stoke. He's on 25 not out.
One of those was in a game West Indies lost convincingly, the 3rd Test, the sort of dead rubber match against England early last year, but he made a fine 101 not out against Pakistan that almost secured a draw for West Indies in Rosso in May 2017 before Shannon Gabriel had his "why did he do that" moment, and the game was lost with
One
an
of
over
the classics, isn't it? It was one of the great moments. Incredible.
Chasing that innings, 101 not outs in 6 hours, 239 balls, almost got West Indies to a draw.
64 for 3, and England's still got some work to do here because Campbell is expected to bat again. Chase on the strike. Anderson moves in, bowls to him again. He covers up and plays from the crease right over that. Runs away into the leg side. Losing a bit of touch with who's been going on and off. But we've got Chris Wokes, the bearded Wokes, down here at fine leg. And somewhere I saw Sam Curran was on. He's at mid-off, I think.
Jofra Archer has definitely gone.
He's gone, and Wood has gone. Yeah.
Talked about a quick change for you and Simon. Me and Tuff has just had about 3 minutes trying to get
tangled up.
Sorted that very slow pit stop.
Anderson again bowls, Chase forward and finds a gap there. The ball runs to third man. It's interesting. You don't often see a third man, but actually they've been setting it quite regularly in this innings. 65 for 3. And Anderson operating from the end that has tended to do a bit more. That's where Gabriel and Holder had their success from up there. Sight screen behind him. But, a few of the West Indian camp are sitting out. But, the England area is pretty deserted at the moment. At least outside anyway. With Anderson in the sunshine again. Bowls short, cut hard and very well fielded there in the gully. That was firmly struck, but Stokes able to field that. Have a few things going through his mind, I would imagine. Interesting if they do have a bit of a go at Best now. Again, A, to score some runs at B, to stop him simply holding one end, which he did really well in the Cape Town Test match. He does. He's actually pretty economical. Anderson bowls, a little bit of movement away there. Oh, there's a stuttery run, but they're going to get there. Throw coming in from Crawley, doesn't hit the stumps, but he was safely in his ground anyway, Blackwood. 66 for 3. Target's 200.
It's a couple too many easy singles for my liking. That was a good ball. It was a James Anderson right on the money, 4 stump, and Blackwood, who's played very sensibly indeed. We've kind of been waiting for something rash to happen. But that was just a drop in the offside, and with the field they got with that point slightly deeper.
Anderson bowls, and Chase allows that to go by the off stump, not too far away, but a well-judged leave to end that over, 66 for 3.
With that, they had the gully, they had that kind of extra cover quite tight, and then probably a guy 10 yards in front of square on the offside, and the kind of very wide third man. Anything there, he just drops it back on it, and England can't stop the single. And I know boundaries are costly, but it looks defending both. Jason Gillespie once said, when I was talking, he said, I don't like men, protecting both sides of the, men out on both sides, because what are you trying to do? Are you trying to bowl in the channel? You bowl in the channel, that tight off-stump line, you don't need the deep point out, because it's only going to be a bad ball. But if you want to bowl outside the off-stump, you don't need then deep square leg out, because...
Sure.
So it just feels like if James Anderson bowls straight, he gets the inside edge, it's an easy single. If he bowls a really good ball, it's an easy single on the offside at the moment with this field. So I'd like one of them to come up.
Well, Best has been taken off, so Stokes sort of nipping in the bud any thought of them having a go at the spinner, and he's coming on himself. So they've been swapping caps around. In fact, Best is now wearing Stokes' on top of his own at mid-on. So the captain feels it's time to come on and have a go himself. There's a slip in a gully, and a man on the drives of short cover, and he's bowling to Blackwood, who likes to play his shots, but he's reined in so far and is defending this first ball from Stokes, which is a hit off the back foot out to short cover. And presumably Stokes' footwear is now okay, because a real problem with the boots he was wearing in the first innings. Hair swept back, walking in a business-like way back to his mark. It was my body language this morning, weren't we? Stokes looks like he means business. He sort of marches back.
Very thick hair.
Yes.
A bit thicker than I remember it anyway.
Right. In goes Stokes over the wicket, bowls short, and Blackwood almost gives his wicket away there. It did climb a bit, but as a real get-out shot, really. It'll flick outside the off-stump.
He makes stuff happen, doesn't he, Ben Stokes?
Yes.
Every single time he's in the game, something is happening.
It did climb this one, so it wasn't a great shot from Blackwood, who's trying to rein in his natural attacking instinct. 17 from 38 balls. Waiting now for Stokes again, kicking up his heels. He's there and he bowls. Blackwood's on the back foot, a bit of a push. But Stokes able to field. Now the man's going back very obviously to deep square leg. The message to the batsman that he might get a short pitch delivery or two now. In fact, another one's coming across into the leg side. So also that square third man. This field is set really for the short ball. Let's see if it's a bluff or not. In goes Stokes, and he bowls. It was a bluff. It was full. and turned away down to Archer, who's back on the field, running around the boundary at long leg. And 2 runs they take, 67 for 3.
And really controlled partnership between these two.
Yeah.
They've been really good batting. And at lunch, 35 for 3. You're thinking that not England have won the game, but they've taken a big stride towards it. But these two have really fought back. Actually, the wickets looked very placid at the moment. We know how quickly it has changed out of nowhere this week.
Stokes bowls a bouncer, Blackwood's underneath it. He's not a tall man, so he just bobs his head there. 132 needed by West Indies.
You still have England as favourites, wouldn't you? Sorry, Andy.
I was going to talk about Roston Chase's the difference in the way he's played Dom Bess in the second innings. In the first innings, we said earlier, 8 from 46 balls, 5 singles and a 3. In this innings, 12 from 18, hit a 4 and 3 twos. So he's been much more proactive and successful so far.
Stokes over the wicket, bowls, and Blackwood forward. So he's comfortably back to the bowler to end Stokes' first over of this innings from this end. Yes, I would, to answer your question, I would, but once it starts to get down below 100, you start to, and then perhaps there's a bad over or something, or...
Still a lot of runs, 132.
Rowan Hunter emails. As a very active social member of my local cricket club, I was obviously very excited about the return of recreational cricket yesterday. Unfortunately, I rather massively overdid it. How do you rather massively do something? But anyway, you rather massively overdid it. I'm now listening to TMS in bed with the curtains drawn, such as the strength of today's hangover, dear me. The good news for England fans is that the last 2 times I found myself in this state was the World Cup final and the last day of Headingley last year. Anderson on his way, bowls outside the off stump, one that keeps rather low. So he might be on for an exciting finish. Well, take care of yourself, Rowan. Suspect there are a few who have overdone it yesterday.
Haven't really heard many injuries, have we, of pulled hamstrings? Any examples of it or no?
But nice to know if there are any new members of the primary club after yesterday. If anyone was out first ball, let us know. And the details you'll find online for the primary club. It's old friendly wave from Jack Leach down there. Isn't that nice?
And Dan Lawrence.
Dan Lawrence. Look at that.
It's his birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. In comes Anderson, and that's mistimed by Chase as he tries to force that back up the pitch.
I think I should check. Is he 22? 22 today, Dan Lawrence?
I think he is. I've got my notes are closed. I don't know what I think he is. Yeah.
23 today.
23 today.
And a young man with good prospects.
Yes, he's a very, very good player. Could have easily played in this game, couldn't they? They decided to bat him at 6 and say Ollie Pope at 4, but obviously went for Crawley and did well with his 76.
Slip in a gully, crouching there. Anderson again runs in, looking for this wicket. There's some bounce. It was very well played by Chase. He took his bottom hand off the handle. Your old coach will call that the lawnmower shot, wouldn't he? Jerking that bottom hand off the handle like someone rip-starting the lawnmower.
How many times have we seen Nasser Hussain bat like that? That's what I was reminded him of. Actually played it well. Played it far better than Nasser would have done.
They played it very well. But just evidence again of that occasional ball that does something. Keeps the batsmen on their toes. 68 for 3. Target 200. Anderson cruises in and bowls. Oh, almost gave a catch there to Gully. Whether he was just hanging back a bit because of the previous ball, that his weight wasn't going forward to a fuller ball, and that was not far away at all from Stokes, lurking there in the gully. They pick up 1 down to third man. It's interesting they've got third man at both ends, isn't it? I mean, you see it so rarely.
And it's not you wouldn't say it's a one-day third man. It's very wide, isn't it? It's probably 20, 30 yards squarer than a traditional third man. They've obviously spoken at lunch about even if they're not getting we're not getting wickets, we don't want to concede boundaries. We want to make West Indies bat as many balls as they can to get these 200 runs. Something will happen at some stage. At some stage this afternoon, there will be a cluster of wickets. Well, that's what's happened all game, isn't it? So England just trying to hang in there, be very patient.
Deep square leg now. Anderson bowls. Blackwood plays looking for a single there, but Anderson denies him as he pushes into the leg side. 69 for 3. So 131 more for the West Indies to win. So we're expecting Campbell to be able to bat. He got one right on the top of the toe. It was Archer's first ball, actually, but there was nothing loosening about it. Apparently there was a birthday cake at reception earlier with a note for Dan Lawrence, and we've been told we can't have cakes, which is very much part of what we do, of course. But anyway, got your curries in. Anderson bowls, turned away to the leg side, going for a quick single. Chasers slow setting off. The throw's hurled up at the stumps at the far end by Best, but not accurate enough. And that's good running.
He's very quick, isn't he? Very quick.
70 for 3. And the target 200. Pavandeep has sent us an email. But feel free to let us know how you're getting on. I would love to hear about anyone who got a first baller yesterday, because I'm signing you up for the primary club. Pavandeep says, can you mention my best mate Jacob? He's making his first appearance for a club cricket side in 7 years this afternoon as he turns out for his local team in North London. I told him I expect to hear that he's scored a century and taken a fifer when he messages me after the game. He replied with more like a duck and 5 wides. Well, 7 years is quite a long absence, isn't it?
It is. It is a long absence.
It's a bit stiff. Now, what's happened there? Chase, I think, has had a drink or he's been towelled or something. Walking slowly back to his position. Lots and lots of cricket left. There's 62 overs to go today. And Stokes kicks up his heels, bowls to Blackwood. On the back foot he goes. He plays that firmly into the offside. An unusual sight there. Jofra Archer was loosening up one of those big, well, they look like medicine balls, but down there at fine leg. Big green one. So whether he's just feeling a bit stiff and stretching himself and getting ready to bowl perhaps from that end after Anderson.
I think he's coming on now, I reckon.
70 for 3. And goes Stokes. Bowls down the leg side. Oh no, I heard a noise there, and the ball bounced out of Butler's glove. A, did he hit it, and B, did it? No, it's a leg bye being given, but there's definitely a noise, and Stokes' hands were raised.
We all got quite excited there, didn't we?
We did, and look at Butler's body language.
I didn't think it carried. He kind of... Blackwood went to go and pull it. Oh no, did it? Just definitely clipped his thigh pad.
I'd like to see another angle of that, because Butler and Stokes both thought them.
Clipped his gloves on the way through.
Yeah. Maybe another replay.
Oh,
not sure. Have to get
definitely carried. Actually, I didn't think it carried at all. But it's low to Joss Butler's left. He's still hanging his head.
He is.
But I don't think he's seen the leg bye given by umpire Kettleborough this end, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we need to have a look at the snicko on that. 71 for 3. Looking for Mark Wood too. Is he back on the field yet? He's been off quite a long time now. There's a short one from Stokes. Played away through gully. No, because Wokes is still here. One more down to that third man. It's funny when you have a third man and suddenly all these runs are being saved.
You like a third man, don't you?
Well, you get a lot of runs down there, don't we? Just looking at the Stokes replay now.
Can't tell from that.
No, I don't think he did glove it. I think it's only come off. Look at the ultra.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did glove it. Yes, he did. He did glove it. So that is a chance. And Butler knew it. It's funny the umpire didn't see it. But
now we've got Jermaine Blackwood's gone.
What's happened to him now? He's on his knees and looks to be in real trouble. He's got some cramp. No, there's something in his eye.
It's lying on the ground.
Yeah, there's something in his eye. The physio suddenly appeared, and there's some anxious people examining him there. But oh no, Butler knew, and he's shaking his head. Mark Drinkle, my club, Torrisholme, in North Lancashire, organised an intra-club game at short notice yesterday, with another today for younger players on a decent but far from glorious day. Around 100 turned up to watch throughout the day, finding space around the ground to maintain social distancing. It was a marvellous day, illustrating this massive appetite for the game on both playing and on social levels. great credit to all the grounds and volunteers, administrators, coaches and players who've kept things going through lockdown and got stuck in last week to make things happen at all the local clubs, and here to that. It was a great day yesterday, and those who are playing today, they got the weather for it. But
Did your club play?
I haven't found out, actually. I must find out, but it was certainly looked very good nick when I drove past it the other day. Oh, Stokes definitely knew he'd gloved that, and holding his head in his hands. So that was Chase on 27, was it, Andrew?
Well, Blackwood, I thought, wasn't it? Blackwood.
Oh, Blackwood on
on 20.
Blackwood, I make a note.
On the subject of gaps between cricket, the gap between the last international match between Australia and New Zealand in March of this year to this match, 117 days, is the longest gap between men's international cricket matches since 1971 to 72, so including all formats. That's basically the longest gap since one-day international cricket became widely played. The longest ever gap between an individual's test appearances was John Tracos, who played for South Africa in 1970 and then Zimbabwe when they became a test team in 1992. He had a gap of exactly 22 years, 222 days,
I remember.
much to the delight of all Richie Benno fans.
Yeah. Good off-spinner, John Tricos. I remember playing against him in Zimbabwe. Mark Wood's back on. So, and Blackwood's been attended to, so he's restored, and Stokes can continue this over. In he goes and bowls to Blackwood, down the leg side again. Butler gathers that one cleanly, but no bat or glove involved. That chance is gone.
You didn't need to be told, did you, that Mark Wood's on the field, and the stump mics in our ears. You can just hear him chirping away. There he is.
He is. Mid-on. He's got his sunglasses on. Yes, he is. He's quite loud, isn't he? That's typical, isn't it?
Yeah, you can hear his accent as well, can't you?
72 for 3. Stokes bowls, and that's Blackwood taking that bottom hand off the bat handle and sending the ball down to Archer, coming in off the boundary at long leg. So one more to West Indies. They need 127 more. They're going to need these 7 wickets. A useful partnership developing here between these two. They came together at 27 for 3. Chase checks his guard. Just one slip and the gully. Still that fairly square third man out on the offside boundary. 2 on the leg side boundary. Long leg and deep square leg. In goes Stokes. Bowls to Chase, who lets that go outside the off stump. And it's collected by Butler, but there was a chance in that over. It went down. So it was down the leg side. Never straightforward to take, but a chance it was. 73 for 3. Targets 200. More from Sir Alistair Cook, and then Alison Mitchell's coming in here.
Yeah, it's been quite a quiet passage of play since lunch, actually. West Indies on minding it at all. I just feel as if it's building towards the climax of this game. Something is going to happen. Something's going to give. England are hoping it's going to be West Indies, but it has been very quiet. Just a few singles. Jermaine Blackwood's played. He's responsible. I can remember him playing since I saw him coming on the scene in 2015. Yeah, something is going to give in the next half an hour or so, I feel.
Hi, Alistair.
Hi. I think I've been on air a couple of times then. No wickets, no nothing.
Letting the side down.
Well, it's been quite quiet. I went off air and then England got those 3 wickets quickly. Come on air, just milking singles. The TV highlights, nothing happened, and then
and you're back here.
Back here.
Look, it's a good partnership, isn't it? I mean, at some stage, England will start to get a little bit twitchy again. But I think at the moment they still know that 1 wicket could become 2, and it will change again very quickly. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's the tension throughout the day. Archer is back with the pavilion behind him, running in now, full, clipped away behind square. This should be 4. Yes, it will be 4. More valuable runs coming off the bat of Blackwood. He moves on to 25, 77 for 3, and a 50-run partnership between these two now. Well established.
A really nice shot from Blackwood. Archer's first ball on the leg stump. He just clipped it behind square. His outfield's quick. It's a big ground. It's a very quick outfield. He's just lovely timing. Just rolled his wrists over it. Didn't try and hit it too hard.
The 50 partnership in 15.3 overs. That was just the third boundary in it.
Yeah, lots of 1s and 2s, isn't there? slip and a gap to Gully as Archer's in. He's up on his toes this time. It's defended into mid-wicket, and there's no run. Sunshine over the Ageas Bowl for this tantalising 5th day. So there's a cracker of a TV programme on this evening, after the TV highlights, which also will be a cracker. But immediately following on BBC Two, there's a programme celebrating what was happening exactly a year ago today, which was, of course, the World Cup final. As Archer is in now. Again, on his toes, turning it around the corner, Blackwood, and this will bring Bess into play. Down at fine leg, a single taken. Loopy throw comes back into Butler. So it's a special programme to mark, yes, the 1-year anniversary of England's men winning the World Cup final, but also combining with it the other major sporting events happening that day. Do you remember how it was all unfolding at once? It was the Wimbledon men's final as well, and the British Grand Prix.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Essex versus Warwickshire Day 2, but that hasn't seemed to make it.
That might make a little vignette, maybe. A footnote after the credits have rolled. Archer in now, chase on 28, struck on the body, looking to defend it into the onside. The ball drops behind square and Butler comes forward to pick up. So it's on at 8:30. It's immediately on after the TV highlights, which are on at 7:30 to 8:30 tonight. So it's called Sports Super Sunday. It was a Super Sunday, isn't it? One Day Sports Super Sunday is the programme's title. And then on Tuesday, 5 Live Sports Extra, on the actual anniversary day of the World Cup final, we're replaying the final in full. As I said, it was the anniversary. So 1-year anniversary, sort of roundabout now. As Archer is in outside the off-stumper drive, punching into the ground, and then fielded in the covers. And there's no run by Zach Crawley, who's there.
Yeah, you can remember where you were, weren't you, that day? And so Essex were playing Warwickshire. I think it was day 2, it might have been day 3, and yeah, we were batting. And as soon as we finished, obviously straight onto the TV, you could kind of, I was batting at the time, you can kind of see the TVs of in the pavilion what's going on at Chelmsford. Yeah. And you can hear the oohs and ahs, and this Stokes and Butler were building that partnership.
Archer over the wicket, it's fended away awkwardly, looking to play to the leg side. There's a leading edge, drops into the ground though, and Stokes fields moving to his right at Gully, but an awkward height. Blackwood did manage to keep it down. 78 for 3 at the end of the over, chasing 200 to win on this final day. Yeah,
so we walked off at 6:30. And we were still, all of us were in there. I didn't take my pads off until the end of the Super over.
Sweaty.
Just sat there watching, and we had the tennis on, which is obviously it's the Federer-Djokovic final. So that was on the iPad. You had the cricket on there, and Warwickshire didn't leave either. They were in their change room. No one left that change room until, what would that have been, 8:30, 8:45, I reckon?
Yeah, it was late, wasn't it?
Amazing.
So I think the tennis finished just as the main match finished, just before the Super over started. So there was a sense then of all attention shifting, because at that moment it was a lot of split screens going on at people's houses.
Federer was serving 40-15, 2 match points. Yeah. Amazing Djokovic comeback from there.
Stokes running away from us, and now bowling back of a length, and Blackwood's trying to pull him, and he manages to turn it around the corner, but not in controlled fashion. Bottom edgy, takes the single, and Butler fields the throw, comes back in from the deep. You're quite a tennis fan as well, aren't you?
Well, I enjoy sports. I enjoy all sports. So,
and when you get an invitation to the Royal Box at Wimbledon, you have to say thank you, yes, and go, don't you?
It is one of the nice invites which come through occasionally.
Well, I feel very fortunate that I was able to be at Lord's for the World Cup final, and then I was also live watching the other Super Saturday, which was the Olympics in 2012. As Stokes is in now to chase, he turns it off his legs. A controlled shot, brings fine leg into play. It's fielded cleanly, and another single, 80 for 3.
Yeah, I know you. Just going back, I've got 1 minute to get this story in, but that World Cup final, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law went to the World Cup final. 2 tickets, they were there sitting in the stand, and a couple just in front of them left when England needed 40 to win, saying, "I cannot bear to watch England lose this," and they didn't see the final thing. I'd love to know who they were, but there was 2 empty seats.
Stokes in punched away up towards mid-off, no run. They would not have been the only people, though, because there was a lot of people getting so disheartened by the state of the match and just feeling that this is gone.
But I think you handed your tickets in. It's a bit like the Wimbledon. So someone who was outside in the queue managed to come in and got those 2 seats. And they didn't actually get to the seats, but they got pretty close. Like in the corridor, they must have been around, but yeah, they got to watch the Super Over.
Oh, I'd love it if either of that pair of people are listening at the moment. Who are the people who left the seats and who are the people who got the golden tickets to come in? Stokes, and again now back of length, it's top out towards points. Chasing from the boundary, shouts to run him out. They're coming back for a second, and the throw comes in. Stokes gathers at the non-striker's end, but tosses the ball in the vague direction of the stumps. But they're home, and it's 82 for 3. Blackwood 29, Chase 29.
I mean, I think if you'd have left there, you'd have maybe got some Johns Wood station or wherever they're going, and then go, actually, let's just quickly, we made a mistake, let's get back.
I assume those people have never left their house or spoken to any other humans since. That's the shame of it.
Well, they probably wouldn't tell anyone, would you? Well, you said, yeah, it was amazing to be there, wasn't it? Brilliant.
I bet there's a lot of examples of near sporting misses. Stokes in bowling Fuller, driven, half driven, not timed up to mid-on, where people have taken the call to leave and then absolutely regretted it.
I never understand. I don't understand the football. Leaving your team that last 5 minutes.
5 minutes to go.
1-0 down or something. And
Well, something about beating the traffic.
well, just don't go to the game. Don't go to the game. Like, if you're
Yeah.
worried about beating the traffic, watch it on TV. Like, if you're going to say Twickenham to watch rugby, you know the traffic's going to be bad. You have a drink afterwards and don't
Yeah,
plan to go out in the evening.
Embrace the traffic.
Or just stay the whole day. Just don't go if you're going to leave there.
Stokes running in, England striving to break this partnership bouncer. Ducking underneath it is Blackwood into the gloves of Butler, and it ends the over 82 for 3, chasing 200. Chasing Blackwell on 29 apiece.
I bet, talking about example, maybe Liverpool when they won that Champions League when they're 3-0 down. I wonder if any Liverpool fans left that stadium then.
The great comebacks of sport. Yeah, I have to say the Olympic Super Saturday was immense. Seeing Greg Rutherford, Jess Ennis, and Mo Farah, 3 golds, and that even working on the Olympics. There are a certain number of seats set aside on the finishing straight in the Olympic Stadium who are for working broadcasters, or I suppose broadcasters who are not necessarily working on the athletics. And yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to have one of those seats for just watching. An Olympic Games is one thing, of being on the finishing straight.
They didn't move there all. Just
no, I stayed. I certainly didn't leave 5 minutes before the end of the day's activities.
Mo Farah, 9,000. Was it that?
It's got one lap to go.
Yeah, was it the 10,000 or the 5,000?
I can't remember which it was on that actual day. It was just a gold. It was a 10, I think it was. Oh, it beats the bats. Archer, new over to Chase. Just dangled the bat outside the off stump. And Butler took it. Archer now back to us, walking back to his mark. Dug it in. Good bounce.
West Indies have accumulated extremely well during this partnership. In the last 12 overs, they've scored 44, so going at just over 3.5 an over. But they've scored at least 2 runs in every single one of those 12 overs, so they've just kept the scoreboard ticking. Only 3 boundaries in that time, but a constant flow of runs.
It's very effective scoring at the moment. Archer outside the off stump, a little hop from Chase. Ball goes past the outside, past that off stump. Email from Bob Westaway says, please reassure Cookie that at least one person, i.e. me, was at Chelmsford watching him on the way to victory over Warwickshire and missed all the excitement elsewhere. Says, I think he had quite a good game. I then tried to work out what had happened in the World Cup final by overhearing conversations on Paddington Station on my way home. What a way to piece together a super over. Archer bouncer, didn't trouble Chase, just had to duck underneath it. And through to Butler. Carlos Brathwaite's joined. Cookie's actually gone now, so he can't even elaborate on his performance in that match. But where did you watch the World Cup final?
I was actually at a business meeting and I was following. I tuned in time to see Bolt step back on the boundary and kind of cuss him in my head for not doing the same against me.
Yes.
But yeah, I missed the real enthralling final super over.
Archer. Again, that cuts back a touch into Chase. He covers up, plays very sensibly and defensively back up the pitch to Archer. Yeah, if Bolt had only stepped on the rope, I mean, who knows? You'd already got a century by that stage.
Yeah, we needed 5 to win, I think.
Drama.
2 meters. But our final was something. And then Jofra had the ball in hand, and I couldn't watch it because it was out. But following it on Cricket Info, ball by ball, not refreshing Twitter.
Archer runs in. Ball's now to the tall figure of Chase. It's full, and he's defending out towards extra cover. No run. Here's another one. Sam Reddish says, my old man went to the 2003 Rugby World Cup final in Australia. One of his pals had too many drinks and slept in his seat throughout the whole second half, and he's never lived it down. I should think not, as Johnny Wilkinson was kicking for World Cup glory. Wow. Can't imagine what those conversations would have been like at Paddington Station. I mean, I don't think that those who were watching were even quite able to compute how that super over had unfolded. Defence again, a quick drop and run out towards the covers. Oh, send back. Could be a terrible run out, but it's not, because there's a fumble. And the ball's fumbled by Zach Crawley. It needed a clean pick up and throw, because Chase, he hesitated, he then carried on. There was a moment they looked both stranded. In the end, they've crossed. But the pickup wasn't clean from Crawley, and the opportunity wasted.
Whew. All is well that ends well, Ellie.
Now they're set off.
I mean, he
kept going, didn't he?
Yeah, you must congratulate the intent. Still trying to get quick singles. Andy alluded to having 2 runs for every over for the past 12 overs, and this is how they've been doing it. And they're very, very good friends, albeit one Jamaican, one Barbadian. They have a very good rapport on and off the field, so if it was too many expected to get it right, it would be 2 of these.
Oh, poor old Zach Crawley there. If he'd picked it up cleanly, I think he could have thrown to either end possibly at that stage, and it would have been a clear run out. Chase is on 30, facing up to Stokes now, and he's turning one around the corner. He had to get up on his toes, sort of fending it around the corner as he went, but angled it down into the ground, and Archer's there at fine leg to pick up. And the score moves on to 84 for 3. Oh, they're all flooding in now, everyone who has no faith and leaves early. Philip, in 2005, my uncle, after flying to Istanbul for the Champions League final, Cookie mentioned this one, gave up all hope of a comeback at half-time with Liverpool 3-0 down. He left the stadium and gave his ticket away. Only after hearing the first comeback goal did he plead with the security team to get back in. Was he successful, though? In the air, and it's gone through the hands, Gully, and it's running away down to the boundary for 4. Burns and Blackwood on 33. Blackwood given an enormous let-off. Well, that's a couple of chances that have been created. One with indecision from the West Indies batsman and a run-out chance, the fumble in the field. And this one, Burns just seemed to be falling to the right, but it was at catchable heights. Carlos, and his hand's right there.
He didn't even get a hand to it. That's very, very strange. And it would have been a no ball as well. It's all happening, Ali. It's all
you're
happening.
right. So in that sense, you can say, OK, if he'd held it, it wouldn't have counted. Well, that might ease a little bit of England's pain, perhaps, but Stokes in, flashing away, backward point. There's a man on the boundary. He's picked up cleanly that time. And a single to take West Indies on to 89 for 3, Blackwood 34. Things have started to happen since you sat in that seat, Carlos. How are your nerves at this moment? Because you're a little bit edgy. I'm going to tell you, were really quite edgy at lunchtime.
Very nerve-wracking. It's probably harder to watch them play. I'm quite in control and playing and nerves and stuff, but no, it's...
Chase facing up, gets a short one from Stokes, and he's down on his backside, tumbling over, rolling onto his back. Now, is Stokes starting to get a little bit angry? We're going to see angry Stokes bowling here, a few bumpers perhaps.
Yeah, I figured this passage of play would come where nothing is happening for England and they need an angry Stokes. But for me, does that take away from his captaincy? Does that help it? I'd like to see Jimmy Anderson or Butler just take over for a few overs and allow him to be his raw, emotional, passionate self and try to get a breakthrough.
Maybe it's a fiery Stokes rather than an angry one per se. He's in now and it's back of a length. It's played well. Dropped into the offside. Quick single taken that time. There was the response. There was a clear communication. They've gone through for 1. West Indies 90 for 3. Now here's Thomas Logan back on the World Cup final, the cricket. He says, I was outside the ground desperately trying to get in all day, waiting with thousands. With 5 overs to go, there were people that had been employed to do the tidying up and were all getting let in at the end of the ground. I just queued up and they asked my name as all employees were on a database. I just said, John Smith, and hoped. I'll leave you in suspense as Stokes is in, dropping it out to the offside, fielded at cover, no run. They seemed to tick a name and gave me a pullover high-vis jacket and let me in. So I got to watch the end. I didn't pick up litter and I left celebrating with a beer. Oh, the least you could have done was picked up something. When there is a will, there was a way, says Thomas Logan. Oh, that is a great bit of blagging, I have to say. An outstanding piece of blagging. Have you ever done a good blag, Carlos? Got yourself in somewhere you shouldn't have been? That's the end of the over, by the way, 90 for 3.
Yeah, a few parties. Get the wristband from one of the guys on the way out and put it over my wrist and enter.
I actually got in to see Prince perform live at a hotel in Hollywood, and what's more, I was there with my good friend Jackie Oakley. As we were queuing to try and get in, we realised that Brian O'Driscoll was also standing trying to get in.
The rugby player?
Yeah, but the security, I'll just describe this ball from Archer into Chase now as he's coming forward defending. Security didn't recognise Brian O'Driscoll at all. It was left to Jackie and I to say, this guy's a really good rugby player, let him in. And they did. Carlos, a few more words from you. Isha's coming in.
Yeah, outside nightclubs, everyone wants to be on the VIP list. Especially 51, Isha. You've made a reference to 51 in Trinidad. Were you on the VIP list then?
Yeah, I know the place well. Yes. Chase is on strike to Archer, pushing forwards. That stayed incredibly low. He's crouching down, trying to defend it, and then almost falls onto his knees as he plays it back to mid-on. So a few opportunities in the last few overs, Carlos, for England. Joss Buttler dropping a ball, diving to his left when the score was on 70 for 3, 82 for 3. And just a few overs ago, there was a run-out opportunity. Then Blackwood dropped on 29 and the score on 84 for 3 as Chase whips it around the corner out to deep. Backwards square and then comes through for a single. Moves to 33, 91 for 3.
Yeah, as the guys get more into the innings and they be a bit more expansive, you do expect the odd chance. They take a few more risks. I really didn't mind the drop and try to run a single. The drop chance, I felt Blackwood could have been shown a bit more positive intent.
Archer bowls to Blackwood, carving up and over slip. It will go for 4. A short ball outside the off stump. He's just leant back and uppercut it. Blackwood to 38, then 95 for 3. At what point do you start getting nervous as a captain, Carlos? How will Ben Stokes be feeling right now?
Ben Stokes the bowler or Ben Stokes the captain?
The captain.
Ben Stokes the captain will be a bit nervous. Ben Stokes the bowler and cricketer, as he's shown over the past few summers, will be relishing this opportunity to break the partnership. But again, Blackwood, that is the intent I was talking about. If you're going to go hard.
Still at the crease, on his toes, pushing to the offside. Another back of a length delivery from Jofra Archer as he runs to collect it. Now has the ball in his hand and gives it a bit of a shine on the back of his leg. Blackwood on 38 then, and Chase on 33. What a recovery it's been after losing 3 early wickets. John Campbell as well off the field. I'm still waiting to hear about his toe, but he has spoken about the fact that if he is required, he will come out to bat. It's coming down right to the wire here at the Ageas Bowl as Archer turns at the top of his mark. That short run up into his stride. Bowls short to Blackwood, who ducks underneath it. And a nod of approval from him as he steps back and walks to the other end, because that is the end of the over, 95 for 3. Requiring 105 then, the West Indies. There's plenty of time left in this day as the players walk towards the far side of the ground. It will be drinks. Bright sunshine here in Southampton as the drone hovers up above the Shane Warne stand on the far side. And a break in play, it might just offer England a chance to just reset themselves. 32 overs bowled in this innings, Andy.
Partnership now 60 from 20 overs when they came together. The CricViz's WinViz predictor had West Indies down to about 20% chance of victory. They're now above 50% for the first time in this chase. Jermaine Blackwood, after a steady start, 21 from his first 48 balls, 17 off his last 14, so starting to accelerate ominously for England.
Carlos got a smile on his face. You've been up and down this test, haven't you? It's ebbed and flowed nicely.
Yeah, it's been a very good advert for Test cricket. I really enjoyed it. No one has ever been so far ahead that you thought it was a bore or you were losing interest in the game, and here we are with all three results possible, as they say.
For those who are just tuning in now, England were 170 ahead at the start of the day. Many felt that getting over 200 would pose an interesting proposition to the West Indies. Mark Wood and Jofra Archer out in the middle this morning. They managed to get to 199, so 200 exactly required by the West Indies. And it was an early few wickets. Jofra Archer bowled beautifully in his first spell, fired up, picked up 2 wickets. The one of Craig Brathwaite, and then Shamar Brooks, LBW, for 0, before Hope was dismissed for 9 by Wood. So the pace bowlers doing the damage initially, and John Campbell retiring hurt after a blow to the toe from Jofra Archer, a searing Yorker right up there, right on the edge of his toe. And since then, a recovery from these two, Blackwood and Chase, 2 very capable players out in the middle. Roston Chase has scored 5 centuries in Test cricket, 2 of which came in the final innings, and Blackwood coming off some good form domestically. Someone who is an entertaining cricketer, but in this situation has just absorbed the pressure and played really smart cricket. Not that the opportunities haven't been there, though. I just mentioned 3 chances for England in the last 5 overs or so, as Dom Bess will return to the attack from the northern end. Didn't see loads of turn from him earlier. We talked about this surface effectively being a day 4 pitch because of all that rain and bad light on day 1. But can he do something here? He's got a slip and a short leg. He needs to inspire this team. Deep point in play as we will resume here. 95 for 3 then the West Indies as Chase drives out to deep cover. They push the single. They've shown a lot of intent as Mark Wood has come in to field the ball and tosses it to mid-off as Chase goes to 34, 96 for 3.
This is another battle within a battle. Obviously the first innings would have played heavily on his mind when he first faced up to Dom Bess, but let's see how Blackwood approaches it. He's now in. Does he take him on or does he stay calculated?
Lovely, powerful drive, but straight to extra cover. The thing about this is they've got so much time, though, Carlos, so they don't need to take any risks whatsoever. They've got a man out at long on, deep mid-wicket, so they can just milk it. England need to somehow find a way of extracting wickets as Bess bowls up and over, and that was a good delivery, pushing forwards to the ball. Blackwood meets it with his bat. But it was close to being pad first.
The longer Blackwood bats as well, the more worried England would be, just because of the pace he can potentially score at.
That was a lovely delivery, lovely flighted delivery from Bess as he's through again now. Slightly shorter this time. Blackwood on the back foot, turning to short fine. Jofra Archer sprints in to collect as Chase tells him to stay at his end. A lot of pressure on a spinner in the 4th innings as Bess spins himself a catch. He's now into his stride. Through his action, Blackwood pushes to mid-wicket, diving to his left. Rory Burns manages to stop the ball from going out to long on, so a dot ball. Spider Kang hovering in the distance as Blackwood sets up once more, short in stature compared to his counterpart at the other end as Bess bowls to Blackwood driving. It's a miscue to cover. Zach Rawley there, no run at the end of the over. It's 96 for 3, requiring 104 then the West Indies. Chase on 34, Blackwood on 38. No crowd here, of course, biosecure environment. Have you been good with sterilising your hands, Carlos, throughout this test match?
Yeah, I've been okay. A lot of different mics and pushing and pulling and getting out stuff. I've worked my way well with the machinery thus far. Long may it continue.
I've got to say, it has been difficult trying to remember to wipe everything down in between and wipe hands. There's a lot of gel around as Jofra Archer comes in now to chase, who ably leaves outside the off stump, a good length delivery.
The funniest thing is when I first came in the bubble, I was a little more cautious of it, and cognizant of, trying to use almost all the hand sanitizers, and there are a few sensor-controlled hand sanitizer stations, and the first 3 I think that I tried, none of them worked, and I just thought, nah, I'll be good, man. I'll be good. Number 5 and number 6 have worked well enough, though.
As Archer bowls to Chase, defending back down the pitch. Yeah, a lot has gone into staging this test match, so credit to Steve Elworthy and the rest of the ECB team to make this happen, to the West Indies as well for making the trip over there. They've shown a lot of intention with the way they've played in this test match. A real opportunity for them.
Yeah, agreed.
As Archer pushes away, ambles in and bowls a short ball to Chase, who ducks underneath it.
They definitely weren't a walkover, and it's easy for them to come over and get rolled over, and everyone said, cricket is back. England chose the easiest targets, but they've come out and they've fought, and they've proved that they're not only here to get cricket back underway, but they're here to put up a fight and eventually win the series.
Chase, bat hovering above the stumps, whips it away through the leg side. There's a man out at deep square who gets to the ball now. They'll push the 1, they'll come back for the 2. They've run really well, these 2, as they keep chipping away at this run chase. 98 for 3 now for the West Indies. 102 required, Chase on 36 and Blackwood on 38. Slightly fuller delivery, he's been mixing it up. Has Jofra Archer in this spell. 2 men back in the deep on the leg side. There's a man out at deep point as well, Ben Stokes. Lots to think about for him as Archer bowls, and Chase is on the front foot defending. But he's in a position where he has to think about saving boundaries, but also trying to create enough pressure to take a wicket. Those 3 moments have gone now.
West Indies did it well yesterday. Holding strain, as we say in the West Indies, controlling the session and not letting the game get too far away.
Archer past the stumps, outside the off stump and left by Chase, who was pushing forwards, raising his bat, and a confident looking leave. 98 for 3. These 2 are into their rhythm. What's the run rate been in this session so far, Andy?
Well, the partnership as a whole is 3.2 per over. Since lunch, basically exactly that. Just over 3 and over. It's worth looking back to that game 2 years ago on this ground against India. Then the 4th wicket stand was a problem for England. Kohli and Rahane, chasing 245, took the score up to 123 for 3. Before then, Kohli was out to Moeen Ali, and the wickets fell rather rapidly at the end. So England not out of the game by any means.
As Bess bowls to Blackwood, forward pressing and smothering the ball to the offside. The thing about this test match, and I remember that one, was it was turning a lot more. Moeen Ali getting a lot of revs on the ball. Dom Bess comes in again now. Bowls it short of a length. Blackwood on the back foot, punching out to deep cover for 1. Goes to 99 for 3. And there's a lot of pressure on this man. Dom Bess have shown that he can control a game. In South Africa, he can pick up wickets as well in Port Elizabeth, as he bowls now to Chase, driving to mid-off, no run. But this is an entirely different situation where it is so tight. Light breeze blows across as Bess bowls flatter to Chase on the back foot, defending back down the pitch.
Probably a bit too early for Isha, but you think the journalists would have 2 stories written up. If they win, what a decision to leave Broad out and bat first. And if they lose, what were they thinking?
Yeah, that decision at the toss from Ben Stokes. He spoke about the pitch being dry and that it might turn more going forwards. It hasn't turned as much as I think they would have hoped, as Chase pushes to the offside, just leans on it out to deep points as they come through for 1. And that is the end of the over, and that's 100 up for the West Indies, 100 for 3, which means 100 for them to win this game. Chase 37, Blackwood 39. It's going to be an interesting finish. I still maintain that. At the moment, the West Indies look incredibly comfortable.
Yeah,
but you just never know. 1 wicket, a couple of wickets. The problem for England is there's experience to come. And 2 guys who we know can play, Jason Holder, Shane Dowrich. So it's looking tough for England at the moment, but there have been chances.
Ishan, you're never in on this pitch. I mean, I don't know if one of these 2 will go on to get 80, 90 or even a match-winning 100, but thus far everyone that I've tried has failed, so you never know. As soon as England gets a breakthrough, it's all about building that Nets partnership and trying to absorb some momentum, which these 2 have done very, very well, and they now start to transfer that momentum on to England.
Just having a break in play at the moment because Blackwood, I think he's got some issues with his eye. Yeah, just some eye drops at the moment being put in. It's never nice.
There hasn't been a 100 partnership in this match yet. The highest was the 98 that Stokes and Crawley put on in quick time yesterday. This now at 73 is the 3rd highest stand of the match.
Yeah, they played well. Played incredibly well. James Anderson's just having a chat to the buggy cam. We have it in Australia, actually. We have the Spider Cam and the buggy cam. It's used beautifully on television over there for Fox. And with the Spider Cam, we have a chance to speak to the players through it. It's got a big mic on the end of it. The buggy cam is great in that it kind of just follows the play and the action as the bowlers are running into to the wicket. So like you can see a mic on that buggy cam. So that's what was used for the toss, actually. Technology
has brought the players so much closer to the players. I was watching Rory Burns in Sky's player centre thing, and I always wondered why he had this freakish thing, and it used to hurt my neck watching him bat. When he mentioned he was left eye dominant, and that was his way of getting his dominant eye down the pitch, and it was real interesting. Those are some of the things that you probably would never know without some of the technology available.
Absolutely. Great to have an insight into the players as Chase stands tall and play resumed. Archer bowls to him on the leg stump, a good length, but he just flicks to mid-wicket, and Rory Burns there, no run. Gorgeous day here in Southampton. Hope you're all enjoying it wherever you are this Sunday afternoon. I've been reflecting back on the World Cup final last year as well, because this week is the anniversary of that incredible day at Lord's. I remember being pitch side for all the action when Jofra Archer was running in during that super over. Here he comes again now. He bowls back of a length to Chase, who is on his toes, pushing to the leg side in front of Rory Burns once more at mid-wicket. And a completely different situation for Archer here. Incredible mental strain as well for all the players. First test match anywhere around the world after lockdown, and you're being thrown into a situation like this
behind closed doors.
Makes for An incredible test match, though, just how close it's been. 100 required then for the West Indies. Archer pushes away. He bowls now full, and Chase dabs his bat down. It ends up falling in front of Dom Sibley at slip, first slip. As the ball gets passed around the field, Zach Crawley has it now before tossing it to Mark Wood with his bright blue sunglasses. He walks over to Jofra Archer. I wonder when he'll get another spell. As Archer, braided hair, turns at the top of his mark. Runs towards us now. At the crease. Bowl short, it's up in the air. Will it be taken? It is. That's the wicket. Jofra Archer with the breakthrough. And the simplest of catches for Jos Buttler. It's Roston Chase who has to go for 37. He's hanging his head as he walks past his partner, Blackwood. What a partnership for those two, causing all sorts of concern for England. And just looking at the replay, it was a bouncer. He was riding it. I think it catches the edge of the bat as it hits him on the shoulder and pops up. So the score now for the West Indies, 100 for 4. Still require 100 to win this game. And Archer has 3.
You just had a feeling something was going to happen, Isha. As soon as one team was poked the head ahead of the game and taken some semblance of a lead, this test match has brought everyone back down to earth, brought everything into the balance, and just as you were hoping that this partnership would go on and take the game away from England, Jofra Archer has striked the lead and the target. Still 3 figures, still 100 needed.
Roston Chase 37 from 88 balls, just 1 for the partnership, 73 off 24 deliveries. Archer now has 3 for 26 in 9 overs and 4 balls. As Simon Mann battles with the machinery, not for the first time this series. It is a battle he will never win.
Wrong headphones. That's my problem. I had to change them. Right, well, it's game on again. It's amazing how this game can fluctuate. I mean, yesterday that partnership that Stokes and Crawley were involved in, to be taking the game away from West Indies, and the wicket fall that changed the game. England lost the last 7 for 64. It's 100 for 4. England have had their chances as well since lunch. I mean, these two played really well, Chase and Blackwell, but Chase has gone. Right, it's Dowrich in at number 6/7, depends how you look at it. Turns that away down towards backward square leg, and he's off the mark straight away. John Campbell retired hurt earlier after a blow on the toe from Archer. He will bat. So West Indies have lost 4 wickets. Dowrich, the number 7, is out there. So Dowrich and Blackwood at the moment. Blackwood 39, Dowrich on 1. Chances since lunch for England. Stokes at slip, trying to anticipate a catch, went to his right, went to his left. Buttler down the leg side. Burns in the gully, although that would have been a no ball. And the run-out chance for Crawley. Roston Chase finally out for 37. So we're in for a very tense last couple of hours of this test match. It's been a belting game, really, for the first up of the summer. It really has delivered. Here goes Archer. Into ball outside the off stump, forced away nicely. Good half stop by Rory Burns at backward point, diving away to his left, palms it towards Sibley, who runs around at slip. And they go through for a single. 102 for 4. Archer, that one was 90 miles an hour. So 98 to win. Dowrich has 1, Blackwood has 40, and Archer has 3. 10 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 28. How are you as a watcher in tense situations, Carlos?
Apparently not good, Simon.
You're finding that out, are you?
Yeah. When you know you have to bat or you're on the field, you know you have to bowl, I think I'm a lot more in charge. Even when I'm captaining, I think I'm a lot more in charge of my emotions, and you feel a lot more in control. But now there's a lot of schizophrenia happening.
Yeah, it's a Fantastic climax to this game. Best bowls. Forward goes Blackwood, pushing it back up the offside of the pitch, and there's no run. Well, you can take a breather now. He's making way for Michael Vaughan. Well, it's a lovely summer's afternoon in Southampton. Both sides in with a victory chance. Best bowls. Blackwood comes forward and eases that into the offside. Crawley to his right picks up cleanly. If he'd done that earlier, there might well have been a run out. Might have had time to throw it to the wicketkeeper, actually, to take the bails off. Wouldn't even needed a direct hit, I think.
Afternoon, Simon.
Good afternoon, Michael.
This is everyone.
This is best bowling, and back dab from Blackwood. That's nicely played. Chase for Stokes, probably 2, possibly 3. Stokes is onto it, and it's only 2. Hurls the ball in.
I'll tell you what, the outfield's been nice and sharp, hasn't it? You think every night, because we're obviously staying at the ground, we do notice that the sprinklers come on around at 10:30. Not saying we've had too many late nights, Simon, but I do notice around 10:30 they do start to waterlog the outfield. That's why it's so green.
Well, it's been very dry down here. The golf course is quite dry away to our left-hand side. It hasn't had so much water on it, so I suppose they need to keep the water on this ground. Here is best bowling. That's a bit short. It's brushed away off the back foot towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. So you weren't involved last night. There were a few up late last night. I could hear it from my room.
No, I was in bed. I was watching Match of the Day.
Right.
And there's a programme about Alan Hansen on. It was very entertaining.
Best to Blackwood. Full. Blackwood drives and finds the gap. Lovely shot between short extra cover and mid-off. Beautifully played. And Blackwood is playing a fine hand here. He goes to 46, and West Indies to 108 for 4.
Well, he's played beautifully. He's just played like a high-class batsman. He's played with control, maturity, chosen the right ball so far. We're so used to Blackwood having a dash and taking huge risks. So far, he hasn't done that. Just played with great control. That was a wonderful placement. It's not a big gap between extra cover and mid-off.
Threaded through expertly. Best bowls outside the off stump. That one turns and bounces a bit, and Blackwood chops down on it, goes into the offside. Picked up by Crawley, and there is no run. So Bess has bowled 9 overs for 27. 9 overs, 2 maidens, no wicket for 27. It's Archer at the moment who's doing all the damage, 3 wickets, and he's also forced John Campbell to retire hurt.
Yeah, I'm interested in John Campbell and when the West Indies will be thinking about using him. If they may have to. I mean, they might not have to. This partnership might see them home. You'd think that Jason Holder will come in next, and then you would have thought that Campbell will probably come in after Jason Holder, even if he can just hold an end.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen whether he can run in any way, in any meaningful way. Might be a situation where he sort of stands and delivers.
Yeah, it's better than not batting, isn't it?
Totally, yeah. 9-10 Jack. We've got Joseph, Roach and Gabriel.
There's a bit of chin music here. Got a leg slip. Ben Stokes looks like he's going to go and position himself. That's a second slip, first and second slip. Gully's coming in tighter.
This is Darrich on strike. Archer bowls to him. It's short of a length, nudged into the onside. They go for a quick single, shy at the stump to the non-striker's end. The throw misses. And it's backed up at mid-off. It was Pope with the throw.
He's quick, isn't he? Jermaine Blackwood, he was down there very fast, and I think that's fine. If you know as a batsman that he's that kind of runner between the wickets and you can be alert yourself to get ready. It's when you get a batsman that comes out and he's not quite on it mentally and he's probably not quite as quick, when it can become a problem. This is a position down here at third man which is interesting. Catching position for that kind of ramp shot from the short ball.
Here goes Archer. Bowls to Blackwood, and Blackwood gives himself a bit of room there. One that bounces a fraction. He plays it away into the offside towards point, and there's no run. Archer has come all the way down and he's having a chat with Jermaine Blackwood.
Bit of chirp.
Yeah. 109 for 4. There's a bit of chirp on Twitter, wasn't there, as well, between Archer and
I haven't
Tino.
I haven't personally seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah, Tino's giving him a little bit of stick.
Archer turns at the far end. Goes in now and bowls to Blackwood, and there's that potential uppercut from Blackwood. with Denley potentially in action at third man. He missed it though. He was definitely looking to play it short outside the off stump, and Blackwood went for it.
Well, he's just been taken outside of his zone here, Blackwood, because Dowrich, I think, has realised that whether it's the chirp, and that's a bad shot because Denley is positioned for that stroke. That deep backward square on the onside for the pull shot. Make sure that you control it if you're going to play that shot, and then absolutely the same for the offside ramp. You've just got to put it away, or go square and try and get it over point.
Archer's in his 11th over. How many in this spell, Andy?
It's his 6th in this spell.
Moves in now to bowl to Blackwood. There's a short ball, and Blackwood tries to help it into the leg side, gets tucked up, can only play it in the direction of mid-on, and Archer's across quickly. And there's definitely something going on between Archer and Blackwood out there.
Yeah, and you can see Archer, I'm not saying it's to that level of spell that we saw him produce against Steve Smith at Lords, but that steep bounce from nowhere is certainly close.
Archer held up the ball there as if he'd taken a 5-foot, sort of showing it to the batsman. I don't know what he was saying. I mean, and another man goes back now, deep backward point for that potential uppercut. Archer into bowl to Blackwood, and Blackwood gets a short ball. He ends up on his backside. He's just trying to avoid it, and Archer's followed all the way through again, and he's standing there offering a word or two of advice.
He's got a smile on his face as Jermaine Blackwood. This is hot. He's gone under it. He had that split moment where he thought, I mentioned the Steve Smith incident and spell at Lords. Well, that was very similar. It almost was a similar kind of blow. It just missed his helmet.
Well, Archer's doing everything he can here to help England win this game. 3 for 29. He's roaring in up against Jermaine Blackwood. Archer bowls another short ball, and Blackwood plays that well, bending at the knees. It was a bit higher actually, and Archer again has followed all the way through, having a chat with Jermaine Blackwood, and that is the end of the over. And so that's 6 Archers bowled. Can they give him another one?
Yeah, I think they have to.
I mean, he's capable of bowling long spells, and he has got that sort of relatively short economical run-up, but they might want him to come back later as well.
Well, I just think now you strike, you get rid of Blackwood. Looks like he's got him in a little bit of a kind of a mentally difficult place for Blackwood, because he's not too sure how to play it. Now they've got these two fielders back on the offside. He's not too sure whether to play, to duck, to sway out the way. Certainly give him one more.
It's Dowrich on strike for now. And Dowrich, who's a good player of off-spin, is facing Dom Bess. Stokes is just holding things up at the moment. He's making a change in the field. What's he doing here? He wants the cow corner man a bit squarer.
I think Dowrich will be busy here. He'll try and take him on, which could open up an opportunity for Dom Bess on this kind of surface now.
There's a long on in as well. Bess tosses that up, and Dowrich is struck on the pad. Shout for LBW. And not out, says umpire Kettlebury. It did turn. I wonder if it turned too much, really. England have 3 reviews left. Clock is ticking down. Yeah, they're going for it with 4 seconds left. Don't know, what do you think, Michael? It seemed to turn quite a long way, that.
Well, Dom Bess is absolutely certain that it's out. But as you said, it was a sharp spinning delivery. All sorts of questions to be asked. Is it going down? Is it height? Remember, the umpire's decision is not out, so there's got to be a lot going for it to get the overturn of the umpire's call.
Right, here we go. Let's seeing it front on for the first time. Is it hit him outside the line as well?
Okay. Can we just confirm with Ultra Edge, please, Mark?
It's hit him on the back pad. Unless there's an inside
Bowling all the way
edge.
through, please. Nice and spot. Yeah, keep going through the pad. All the way through.
I think there's an inside edge.
Okay, no bat involved.
Just
ball
whether it's
tracking when
out.
available, please.
It might be outside the line.
Here we
Ball
go. This is the
tracking
ball
coming up
tracking. Yeah, umpire's call for line.
Impact is umpire's call.
And hitting.
On impact, so still the original decision of not out. You're on screen now, Richard.
So England keep their review. That was a really tight one that went West Indies' way.
That's the second time Dominic Bess has had an umpire's call.
Yeah. That was umpire's call for line, not for hitting. It was hitting firmly leg stump, but it was on whether it was outside the line or not. It was umpire's call for that.
Yeah, and the previous one to Roston Chase was an umpire's call for where it would have been hitting on the stumps.
Yeah.
Good bowling, great revolutions on the ball.
Best bowl tosses that one up as well. That's driven and sort of dug out into the offside backward of square. Sort of miscue really, but he's going to pick up at least 2 runs. He's coming back for the third now as it goes out to deep backward point. And Dowrich moves to 5 and West Indies to 112 for 4. Well, that could easily have been given out. It was just a fraction of the ball hitting outside the line.
Yeah, you can see why Richard Kettleborough gave it not out, because it's kind of a tiny part of the ball. He's just touching the in line, so he'd have just felt it was outside the line of off stump. Good decision.
112 for 4. Best bowls. Blackwood blocks back up the onside of the pitch, and Pope comes from short leg to pick up.
Who was it that was keeping you up?
Oh,
do you know?
That would be telling tales, isn't it? But I did hear the ukulele being played.
Who has a ukulele? Who has one of those?
Have you not heard it?
Well, I just basically, as soon as you say who's got one, you're exposing to those who stay up late.
I know.
You need to get to bed, that Agnew.
I know. Best round the wicket now, bowls. Blackwood's on the back foot, clipping it towards mid-wicket, and there's no... And he attempted to sing as well, which I thought was a huge mistake. OK, play the ukulele, but don't sing with it as well.
Midlife crisis. Same as you with your karate.
Got to get back for that, but 9 o'clock tonight. Here is Best bowling, tossed up, and that's back to Best on the bounce.
Oh, that's the... so you do karate from America, is that right?
Yeah, so for the... where they are, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
What do you do, Zoom or?
Yeah, Zoom, yeah.
Please film yourself tonight, will you? In your outfit, having a karate lesson.
Do you think I'm going to do that?
Please do.
No way. 112 for 4. Bess round the wicket, ball short, and it's guided away. Yeah, just a bit too short there from Bess, and Blackwood guided it towards deep cover for a single. 113 for 4 at the end of Bess's over and over. It's so close to having a wicket, but not quite. That's been the tail of it so far. For Dominic Bess, and actually it's been the tail of it for England this afternoon. There have been chances, but they've only picked up the 1 wicket.
West Indies have managed to keep the score ticking. That's now 22 consecutive overs without a maiden. Been a lot of maidens in this match in West Indies' first innings. 26 of 102 overs that they faced from England were maidens, and 7 of the first 17 in this innings, but none since, and we've now had 39 overs.
Yeah, and I reckon that a lot to do with that, Andy, is the tactic England used after lunch, where they kind of spread the game a bit. Cover point went on the boundary, square leg on the boundary, and I think it might have been too soon. There were so many runs for the West Indies to get that it created a bit of momentum, because they just kept on knocking and running. I think that kind of tactic is more for when you need 50 or 60 to win, and you want as many balls as possible to get the wickets. I didn't think it was required just after lunch. If there are any of the Mann family listening to this show, please film Simon this evening privately and send it in.
It won't be a thing of beauty, I can promise you.
I can imagine not.
Well, Archer's going to continue. That's the answer to that question. This is his 7th over of the spell. They brought the deep backward point up. There's still a third man, and then what they've done is they put the man to deep square leg instead. There's a short leg in as well, and it is Jermaine Blackwood on strike, and it was a tough battle for Blackwood in the previous over. Can he see out this spell from Archer? See off this threat for now. Archer goes in, bowls to Blackwood, and Blackwood's up on his toes, slightly heading towards square leg, not totally getting in line now, playing it away from his body, pushing it away on the offside, no run.
That gives you an indication of the side of the wicket he prefers scoring on. So he's just kind of jumping leg side because he wants to free his arms up to try and get the ball over cover point. There's that third man available for the catch, Joe Denley, but if it's just slightly outside off stump, he can possibly cut it over the top of point, and that's what he's going to try and look to do.
Archer bowls to Blackwood, and that's off the thigh pad of Blackwood, and it goes down fine. Butler goes after it, and they're through for a single. So
that's the best way to play it, get down the other end.
That's right.
A lot easier. That's what you do, Simon, just get down the other end.
Totally.
Yeah. Would you be backing up?
What, to try and get a single for my partner?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You've got to play a team game, Michael, haven't you?
Well, this is what you want to practice on your desert island, isn't it? The bouncer.
Yeah. There's no one there to watch your embarrassment on the desert island. 114 for 4. Dowrich on 5. Yeah. Oh, that's a nasty one. And is he caught a slippy? I think he is. Darrich has immediately reviewed it, though. Archer thinks he's got his wicket. Darrich has reviewed it. It went quickly to slip from a short ball. And is this 5 down, or is Darrich going to survive straight away, which often suggests that the batsman's going to be okay?
I'm not so sure about this one, Simon. He looks...
That's a fair delivery. Front on spin vision, please.
Decent catch by Dom Sibley.
What's this hit?
What's it come off? Has it come off the back elbow?
Okay, could you just rock and roll that, please, Emma?
He's only got one hand on the bat.
That just rolled through. Okay, looks like it's hit the elbow. But can we just confirm that with Ultra Edge, please? Yeah, all the way through. It's a flat line as it passes the back. All the way through to the elbow. Okay, no bat involved. I'm ready to go back to Richard on field. Richard, please reverse your decision. I'll let you know when you're on screen. You're on screen now.
Wow, that was a remarkable... I mean, there would be... I hope someone's got that in a photograph, because Darrich there was playing that, leaping in the air, both feet off the ground, and it hit him on the elbow. It made a dramatic photograph. It made a dramatic freeze frame as they were sort of running through the ultra slow-mo, and it was a remarkable short ball, and he leapt in the air, and it hit his back elbow and went to Sibley at slip. It went quickly, which induced the raised finger from umpire Illingworth. Here goes Archer bowling. He's leaping in the air again there, Darrich, but playing it past short leg.
It was also, Simon, an exhibition of how not to play the short ball. He completely took his eyes off the ball straight away. It went short, and maybe he just didn't pick it up, and he just panicked and kind of turned his head towards the wicket-keeper. But it was so early that he turned his head away, and that's the one thing you just cannot do against quick bowling. Even if you get in any trouble, you've just got to keep staring at the ball, and it just gives you that glimmer of hope that you might just be able to avoid it. So as you turn your head away, you're going to get in some real big problems.
This is thrilling cricket. Archer moves in, bowls to Blackwood, and Blackwood plays that uppercut, but on the bounce, 2 bounces down to Denley at third man. And he's through for a single. Blackwood up to 48. Darrich with that single off the previous ball is on 6. It's 116 for 4. Archer's taken 3 for 31.
Yeah, one ball remaining in this over. If I'm Darrich, I'm just staring at this ball and just trying to see this over out, because you're looking at Jofra Archer. What's this? His 7th over?
7th over, yeah.
Can he bowl one more? Maybe.
There's a leg slip in, a short leg, 2 slips. Archer goes in and bowls to Darrich, and he bowls him a full toss, which he hits for 4. The chase around the boundary for Best. He will not get there. I think that was the bluff ball, wasn't it? He was looking perhaps for the slow Yorker delivery, and in the end it was a friendly full toss on the pads, and he clipped it away for 4. It's 120 for 4. And Jonathan Agnew is coming in, and with 25 minutes to go until tea, and what is an absolutely fascinating test match.
Well, yeah, we're in for a tremendous last hour and a half's play. 2 hours, 80 runs for the West Indies, 6 wickets for England. We're going to have a change of bowling at this end by the looks of it. Jimmy Anderson's going to replace Dominic Bess. Blackwood's playing with so much control. Apart from that one delivery from Jofra Archer, he got into a few problems with the short one. He's on 48, and Jimmy produced a bit of magic. Can he get a bit of reverse swing, a little bit of movement? Where's your money, Aggers?
Well, it's interesting, is it? Because they've got 2 fast bowlers in the side now, of course, so it's not as though you want necessarily to just hold one back for the tail. But what a spell. I mean, it just shows what some of that pace can do on a pitch that's really doing nothing. Suddenly get explosive pace. West Indies need 80, and in goes Anderson. Oh, this is Edge. He'll go for 4.
Oh no,
just past first slip. Not sure it would have carried to second, actually.
I think it would, Aggers.
76 more to win, and Blackwood's half-century comes up. He's played a very controlled, restrained innings by his standards so far.
89 balls for Blackwood. That was his 6th 4. It's his 12th score of 50 or more in Test cricket. He has 1 century. He has a very good record against England. Century and 3 other half-centuries. Averages 56 against England, 24 against all other teams combined.
Dropped on 20 and should have been run out, so he's ridden a bit of luck. Now he's on strike again as Anderson on his way. Bowles on the off stump with a lot of time there. Blackwood just leans forward and plays back to the bowler. So those runs ticking away. It's a terrific finish, it really is. At the moment, well, obviously, as is the case all day, either team could win this. I suppose some of it depends on Campbell and when he bats. I thought he might have come in before Darrach, actually. If he was fully fit and raring to go, he's got obviously a nasty blow on the toe. Thought he might have come in ahead of Darrach, but in goes Anderson. Bowles, and that's driven up to mid-off by Blackwood. And there's no run. We're in Cookie.
I reckon they should have a second slip then.
Yeah.
It's easy captain up here, isn't it?
I know, and a fine third man. They got a squarish third man, but I don't think an orthodox third man would have got that either.
Blackwood likes playing against England, doesn't he? Was he averaging 56 against England compared to 30 otherwise?
30 overall, 24 against all other teams apart from England.
Now he waits. Anderson's there on the leg stump, though. That's 4 more. Off the middle of the bat this time. And Anderson turns around looking most dejected and starts to walk back to his mark. And that was a gift. Half volley, leg stump. And Blackwood is certainly in now. He's not going to miss out on an opportunity like that.
Yeah, you don't get many of those from James Anderson. And this is a really good innings by Jermaine Blackwood. I didn't know he could play like this. I know he got 100 against us before. I do remember that 100. It was a good 100, but there was an element of luck in terms of, I'm pretty sure there's a bit of aggressive batting or slogging, which had kind of looped over. But he's played remarkable control in a really high-pressure situation.
Anderson bowls to him. Keeps a bit low maybe. But he's certainly squatting as he plays that. He's not a tall man. Fielded in the gully, but he has given... Well, there have been 2 opportunities to get him out, shall we say. I mean, Chase would have run him out if Crawley had picked the ball up. And then he was dropped down the leg side by Butler.
Well, Carlos asked me what would I say to Blackwood at lunch, and I would have said, just got to play your really positive way and be the hero. But I would not expect him to be able to battle 56 or 90 odd balls. And
Anderson bowls to him again. That climbs this time, and he takes the bottom hand away from the bat handle. So there's one that's kept a bit low, one that's bounced a bit, but 8 runs came from that over. And when you're only talking about we're into the 70s now to win, an over of 8 makes a big impact. 72 to win.
Yeah, you always thought with Blackwood you could play on his ego, and if you gave him that, bring it on up for one, he'll definitely take it on that ball. It was like, well, I'd go through the offside against the spin, but there's been none of that. Whatever field England have had to him, he's just played really controlledly, waited for the bad ball like that last leg stump half volley and put it away. I mean,
he's the man who had a massive swipe with about 2 wanted, wasn't it, heading?
Well, he did. I think they needed 4 to win, and he took his helmet off. He'd been wearing his helmet, he'd done it all game. He took his helmet off and then just ran down to obviously put Mo in wherever he could, and obviously he wanted to have the picture so everyone could see his face, I assume, on the back pages of all the papers. And then he got stumped.
It's a crazy end to a really amazing day. So Mark Wood is back. Archer's having a rest, so that's potentially a match-changing spell. And now let's see what Mark Wood can do. With a short leg there, and the first ball is pushed away into the offside, catching Archer there just a little bit deep, taking a bit of a breather, and they scurry a single. 71 to win.
It's come down quite quick, hasn't it? Last.
We just need another over like that one of Anderson's, and down into the 60s, and it does start to get twitchy, doesn't it? With 6 wickets left.
Got 15 off the previous 2 overs.
Oh.
Imagine Joe Root at home now watching, thinking, I'm coming back into the bubble. Either in the next 2 hours, either 1-0 up and everyone's chipper, might be slightly sore heads, or 1-0 down and got to pick the whole troops up. It's a big change of dynamic it'll be, won't it?
Big bouncer from Wood there. It's flying over Darrach's Blackwood's head, rather, into Butler's gloves. Yes, indeed. It's never good going 1 down in the first Test or a 3-match series, is it? It's not always easy to get back from that. Well, there's still a long way to go. 71 to win. all the time in the world. There's still, in fact, I don't think we're even halfway through the day yet in terms of overs. Here's Wood. Extended run up. Bowles hurling himself into that one. Pushed way off the back foot, 88 miles an hour. So he's already loosened up and running in. He was off the field for a little while earlier on. But, seems to be okay. Now they got the third man here.
Have we had any emails you asking about the primary club?
I don't think that anybody who was listening at the time, well, to say was out first ball might be slightly inaccurate, is prepared to admit they're out first ball. Somebody must have been out first ball yesterday, surely. Here's Wood, wide of the crease. Bowles. Oh, it's almost steering a catch to gully. Down to third man it comes. And Denley will throw it in. They've scurried two, though. Are you thinking that the third man has been in for the short ball predominantly? Because there is a lot of short stuff around at the moment, and it's for that, well, for that, really, and the uppercut shot and so on, rather than the more orthodox reason for a third man.
Well, it is now, because he's a lot finer, but straight after lunch he was very square, as if that was just to protect the boundary, not like the third man boundary, the cover boundary. But this is now, they obviously decided to go hard. They've got the short leg in, got the man out on the leg side and the third man.
131 for 4, 69 now needed to win. In comes Wood and Bowles. That's slashed away past Stokes. It hasn't got off the middle of the bat, I don't think, and Denley should get there, running round to his right from third man once more. He does so, just a yard inside the boundary, and they come back for another two, and runs are definitely coming at an increased rate now.
He's taking it on, and every time he's trying to look for that cut shot. It's high risk from England, isn't it? I mean, they're scoring runs from it.
Yeah.
Partnership 33 from the 37 deliveries.
It is high risk because throughout both teams have been pitching the ball up. Still a short leg there. In comes Wood. Bowles, fuller length this time, turned into the onside. Another single.
And that's the problem, isn't it? When you've got the attacking short ball field with men to protect that. If you do bowl a kind of, say, a more regulation ball on top of off stump, you can just get an easy single because the short leg's in.
Email from Mike, who's painting the back of his house. He's up some scaffolding listening to TMS. It's a good place to listen. Mike, take it easy. Shout out for Rich Poole in the friendly match. Broadston versus Bournemouth yesterday. So down in our neck of the woods, Rich. He was out bowled from the first ball of the innings. He batted again at 5 and was out bowled first ball by the same bowler, and was allowed to bat again by Bournemouth and was caught behind for 2 off the same bowler. Not the only naught of the Broadston innings, but certainly most memorable ones. You see, the only person that's been out most this season. So after one day, poor old Rich has been out 3 times.
An average of
0.66. Cricket likes to round
It's not
down.
a great start. It's not a great start to the season. I hope he knows that you're emailing us, Mike. Well, he's a fully paid up, or should be, member of the primary club after that. I mean, twice. 2 first ballers and great stuff. 134 for 4. In goes Anderson. Bowles. Oh, he's creeping forward there. Blackwood playing across that pad a little, but Anderson fields.
Yeah, talking about strange things. We played a warm-up game against Hampshire, a 50-over game. This is when Ronnie Irani was captain, so it could have been 2004 maybe.
Yeah.
And it was one of those that they bat their 50 overs and about however many wickets they lose. Chris Benham got a pair in it in a one-day game. Batted at 3, got a naught, came back and batted at 13 and also got a naught.
Dear. Yeah. Anderson bowls on the off stump. Blackwood defends, playing out to cover, and there's no run. Oh, Jeff Cooling, Bedfordshire Farmers captain Tom, was bowled first ball of the innings by Elstow's Kane Hamilton Boyle. That's a good one to get in the scorebook. Well, Brian Davison was caught Kinkhead Weeks, bowled Wingfield Digby once, and Oxford University got both double barrels in. Oh well, you've got to pay up as well, I'm afraid. Off goes Anderson. Oh, he's thumped him over mid-off, and the ball bounces just once into the boundary edge. Another boundary off James Anderson. 138 for 4. It was pitched up. It was rather an inviting length, and well, that's more like the Blackwood we know and love. He just absolutely hit that beautifully.
It's the first sign of an unusual shot, if that makes sense, like a shot we would expect from Blackwood, but it just came out of nowhere, just bumped him over the head, over the top of mid-off, as if that's what you're meant to do to a person who's got 580 odd test wickets.
It was in the slot again, though, wasn't it? It was just that length. Anderson again runs in, bowls. Blackwood looking dangerous, hit on the pad. They all appeal behind, nothing from Anderson himself. 138 for 4.
Blackwood's now faced over 100 balls, only a second time in his last 18 tests. That's 31 innings that he's passed the 100 ball mark. That's going back to October 2015.
No, he's playing very well. England obviously have to get him out.
I think we need to also look where we bowl at him, because every other country gets him out for averaging 20 and he's averaging 55 against us.
62 to win. Anderson bowls. Blackwood defends this time and holds the pose. It's fielded at cover by Burns. 138 for 4. Anderson's in one of those moods you can sort of see from here. He's just bristling a bit, not happy.
I think if he gets one wicket, though, I don't think you're going to get the ball out of his hand to the end of the game. I think he'll suddenly perk up, but it's this wicket. It's these two, isn't it? I know Campbell's in, but these two and Holder.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a tail.
Anderson bowls down the leg side, taken by Buttler. He's not quite on the money at the moment, Anderson. So that come to any bowler, Stokes is running past him, but Anderson is wandering off in his own little world there, really. 138 for 4, 62 needed. Blackwood 65. Daric has 11. We've seen a terrific spell of proper pace bowling from Jofra Archer. He's taken 3 wickets, took 2 in that spell. Having taken the first one, Brathwaite, and also responsible, of course, for Campbell retiring hurt when he got a nasty blow on the toe.
There's 1 in the second spell, 2 in the first spell.
Sorry, indeed, correction, thank you. It's a brute of a ball. Flew at chase. There's some quite spectacular photographs. I hope there are enough snappers in the ground to have got them, because we've had batsmen ducking and weaving all over the place. There's a conference now between the two batsmen. And what field are they going to have here to try and stop this little push and run? They've got a leg slip. So again, looks as if they're going to go short. Nope, leg slip's coming out. It's going out into the covers.
The third man's gone.
This looks like a full and straight field, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Wood on his way. Moves in, bowls, around about middle and off, steered into the leg side. But there are 3 fielders, including one with the helmet on. There's a mid-on, and then square legs quite close. The offside tight as well. They're aware of these singles being stolen.
There's been a lot of singles in this session, hasn't there, with that kind of widest third man and deep square pretty much throughout the whole session. So they stopped that now, not only 2 boundary. Oh no, just as I said that, I like that field. Now deep points come back into this. There is that easy single on the offside.
Here's Wood, and he bowls, and that's worked away into the leg side. They picked one up there at mid-wicket. He knew where the gap was there. Daric, and just pushed the ball into it. Very good cricket. 61 to win, with 6 wickets left. And Stokes, well, you know more about the captaincy roller coaster than anybody, but at 7 for 2, 27 for 3, with 1 retired hurt as well. You're up there thinking, great, I'm going to win my first test match. And now suddenly, look up there, 61 to win, and 6 wickets left.
And it'd be great to ask, wouldn't it, Ben Stokes, how the difference this week has been for him being the captain. You know what, in the evenings.
Well, I'll ask him later.
No, I think you should, in terms of for a guy who's done no captaincy.
Yes.
Nothing, not even doing the Durham game. And how has he experienced it?
I'd assume he's pretty exhausted, wouldn't he?
I'd imagine so. Yeah. I mean, I was. I think that every emotion you have as a player, it's kind of doubled as a captain.
Yeah.
You know, you really like every little player miss. You feel that slightly more because you feel responsible for the team. Added responsibility, of course you do, but you know, every little decision you make, you're thinking about, and then the effect of it. And if, you know, is that one which gone to second slip, probably every other guy probably think, it's just gone through there. But you'll be like kicking yourself, saying, why did I not have that in there? That'll be on your mind, and then when you go to bed, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to say to the guys in the huddle? What am I going to say to whoever?
Well, there's another sort of fundamental change here, really, in that the short leg has been taken out, and Stokes has gone from second slip to gully, and third man has come to the orthodox third man position. There's a man out for the hook. Blackwood on 65, and Wood from that far end rushes in. Bowles to him very fully, thumps that away, doesn't time it, and Anderson can feel come up from mid on. He's going for the big elaborate straight drive there. 139 for 4. The trees behind the scoreboard just rocking gently in the breeze.
Another game that might be in some of the England players' minds is the first test of that India series in 2018. Alistair, at Edgbaston, you played in India chasing 194 for 4, had reached 112 for 5.
Wood, big springy jump. Bowles thumps into the pads, and there's no run.
And then 141 for 6 with Virat Kohli still at the crease, and then the last 4 wickets went for 20. What goes through a team's mind during a phase like that?
Well, I was just looking at the scoreboard, and you think in the England dressing room, you're thinking, this is kind of like slipping away from us. But then if you were in the West Indies thing, you'd be looking, that's still a lot of runs, 61. If we suddenly lose one more wicket, then Josie's getting his pads on, and you probably don't have too much confidence in him. And amazing what different perspective it is.
Here's Wood. Bowles short. He tries to flick it away down to third man. I'm not sure that's a great option anyway, with Denley lurking down here, but it very nearly just ran a catch there to Butler. Rather backpedaling as he played that. 61 to win.
Yeah, with Holder hasn't got a run or tour, has he? No. They'll be hoping that these two, Dorridge looked very good in the first innings.
Well, when do you put Campbell in, assuming that he can run?
Well, I'm surprised. I was surprised he wasn't in
now
before Darridge. But then Darridge has scored a lot of West Indies runs recently, being in form. So I suppose it's understandable. But I don't know how bad his toe is. And
here's Wood. Bowles pushed into the onside. With the tease Anderson there, who's angrily hurled the ball at the stump, saying, "Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me." Sort of picking him out and wanting the single. And Blackwood's got a little bit of a strut about him now. 139 for 4, 61 needed. He and Durrich have a conversation.
Because if Campbell has got a sore toe, like one of what Blackwood has done, in this innings is those singles. He's looked for those singles, and if suddenly you've got a guy who's not as willing or able to take those singles, that momentum stops.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Well, he was having a lot of ice put on it when we saw him.
In that Edgbaston game in 2018, Anderson got the key wicket of Dinesh Karthik, and then Ben Stokes picked up three of the last 4 in a fine spell, including the crucial wicket of Kohli LBW.
Wasn't that last game in the winter in South Africa, when it was getting quite close towards the end of the game, Ben Stokes got those 3 wickets?
Does it, doesn't he?
I know. Is the script written for a Ben Stokes spell?
It could be. He's been very busy. I'll tell you, as a captain, he's up and down, he's talking to his bowlers. And there's another plan that's been hatched here, that they've now got 2 men catching in the leg side. That's sort of basically short mid-wicket. And Stokes has placed them there very precisely. And he's moving to second slip now. So we've got Darrich on strike. He's got 12. 61 more runs are needed.
I like this field. There's no easy singles.
In goes Anderson. Bowles to Darrich. Plays that away into the leg side. And it's gobbled up there by one of those 2 close fieldsmen. Pope is the straighter of the 2. Crawley standing there. Top of the world yesterday. He's got a really good 70. Had a big smile on his face when he walked past here, and Now that run out will be going through his mind. It's a great leveller, this game.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable.
You're going to run him out by the length of the pitch.
And he's a really good fielder.
Yeah.
I think in here we were calling it as if it was almost a guaranteed run out.
Anderson bowls. Oh, he played and missed there. A little bit of a swish outside the off stump. Darrich goes away and talks to himself and says, come on, should have left that. He probably should. Typical Anderson channel. It just moved away a bit.
He went with the one-handed where he had all the time in the world, didn't he? He had all the time in the world for two hands. He just went for the one-handed pickup and fumbled it.
Yeah, and that was it. The chance went. 139 for 4. 61 more needed by the West Indies. Sun shining on a beautiful afternoon, and Anderson bowls. Forces him onto the back foot this time. Denley picks up at backward point. Shame there's not a full house. I mean, we keep saying it. It's obviously the case, but...
Do you reckon that's helping West Indies now?
I suppose so. Yes,
without the home support.
You haven't got the Barmies.
Yeah.
Billy Cooper blowing his trumpet. Just nothing. 139 for 4. Anderson over the wicket, bowls. Back goes Darrich. Goes down to Bess. He's fiddling at mid-off. 61 more to win. Reminder, of course, the next Test match starts on Thursday up at Old Trafford, so the bubble moves north. And into the hotel at Old Trafford. Anderson over the wicket, bowls. That's a thick edge. There's no third man for Anderson, and it's been chased by Denley down towards the boundary. Will it go all the way? No, it doesn't. And they've come back. They've got 3 there, haven't they? It's a good running. Very good running. 58 to win. 142 for 4. Blackwood there was going to the danger end, as it were. He's very, very quick. He has eye on 3 all the way. And for him, the field changes, so Denley stays down there. And Crawley is going back to more orthodox square leg, just in front of square, but still Pope is at short mid-wicket. 58 to win. 142 for 4. Anderson bowls down that leg side, brushed away, certainly for 1 down to Archer. It'll be a leg by, I suspect. And another one goes to the West Indies score at 142 for 4, and that looks as if it's tea. It is tea at 5 to 4. So off they all go. 57 more to win for West Indies. Well, we've seen Jimmy Anderson bowl some amazing spells. I'm not sure necessarily I'd put those 3 overs in there. I wouldn't put those 3 overs in that sort of category, I'm afraid.
Yeah, 3 overs for 16.
Yeah, just didn't quite come back with it, but anything can happen in this game. It's certainly not over yet. Just another wicket, and suddenly the pressure's back on the West Indies again.
Yeah, and almost as those runs come lower and lower, the pressure then goes on the West Indies because they should win it from here. You know, how many commentators say, well, they should win it from here, and then 2 mistakes, and then pressure then has their chance gone. But a great session for West Indies. It was over 100 runs scored at 3.6 runs per over, and I think England, I don't want to be too critical of Ben Stokes, whether putting the men out as soon as he did, having sweepers both sides gave West Indies a chance to get those singles and build a little momentum. It's very hard, as I know as a captain, then to bring it back in, because the guys get set and then suddenly pierce a couple of boundaries.
In a way, that's quite a well-timed tea break, isn't it, for England, do you think?
Really good, because you could see everyone in the last, after that wicket of chase, they went up for a bit, and then Dora just came in and played quite nicely and scored quite quickly alongside Blackwood. So good time for Chris Silverwood to regroup.
But just get off and let's kill that momentum for a while and just start again.
Chris Silverwood to regroup them, let them have 10 minutes on their own, and then it's the final push, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Right, we're going to move on because it is tea break here. 57 needed by the West Indies. England needs 6 wickets, so we're in for a thrilling climax.